Uh, Welcome back everybody to the Blurred Podcast. I can't remember what episode we're on, but as you all know, we've never missed a week. So welcome back to our weekly scheduled recording of the podcast. Dex and Heghmoh. It's been kind of a long week. This week has lasted like 20 something odd days.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that the podcast is like there's been a little bit of a break, but like I said, every week here we're back. So how's your week been?
Answer only.
Yeah, how's it been going?
Let's talk to Heghmoh, who's currently doing a fantastic subathon sort of thing.
Well, yeah, we're doing a little marathon today,
Mhm.
end of year marathon. It was originally going to be discounted subs, but Twitch decided to deactivate sub discounts today. So
Oh, yeah,
that's
that's fun.
cool. But the community has been very, very supportive
Hmm.
regardless. Yeah, we're about halfway through our goals and less than halfway through the stream.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
We've got at least another 10 hours to go.
Yeah, you
So
started at like
hopefully,
4 a.m. my time
yeah, your
today,
time. Yeah, so 6 a.m.
and
my
and
time,
I was
4 a.m.
like,
your
what the
time.
fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
But hey, how's it going? Are you having fun?
Great. I mean, I prefer to start early
Mm-hmm.
and potentially end. Like if I ended up going 24 hours and I had to keep going until noon,
Mm-hmm.
like noon to noon would be harder for me than 6 a.m. to 6 a.m.
Sure. That way you can go to bed at 6
Hmm.
a.m. and then your sleep schedule will
Yeah.
be just royally fucked instead of only a little
Oh
bit
yeah.
fucked. Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. I
Well, I
gotcha.
mean, I figure if I go to bed at noon,
Mm-hmm.
also fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Dex, how have you been, buddy? What have you been up to? What's been going on?
I've just been continuing the incredibly arduous and miserable mastery rank 9 grind.
Mm.
How's that going?
I'm not mastery rank 9.
What are some of the things that you've been working on to increase your mastery rank level? Have you capped out monstrosity yet?
No, actually, that's something that is a lot more of a time sink than you think.
Hmm.
There is a current campaign
Campaign
for it, though.
campaigns up, yeah. I might do some at some point this weekend.
I've
It's
never
quite a
done monstrosity and never really looked at it. What is it? What is monstrosity? Can you enlighten me a little bit?
monstrosity is you go through the portal where
Hmm.
there's the two, I think they're mandragoras, and then you
Hmm.
go in there and there's little floating skulls that are like, you want to be a monster? And then you
Hmm.
go in there and you possess a soul of a monster. And you run around, you level up. And there's I should know the number of species, but there's a lot. And
Mm.
you need to unlock most of them by leveling up other ones. Like say you're
Oh.
playing the mandragora, you can't become the Pachypodium or any of the other variants of Mandragora until you get to a certain level, and then you got to change.
Mm.
But each one counts individually as like a job. So you can get Mandragora to 99, you can get Pachypodium to 99, you can get Adenium to 99.
That's crazy. That's a whole lot.
Sh-
It can.
Shiraj, who is
Mhm.
an authority on most things, just
Mhm.
said that I unironically feel that monstrosity does absolutely nothing for mastery rank.
He might be right.
Um, but who knows? Who knows?
We don't.
Didn't
That's the problem.
I'm pretty sure somebody said that they were playing around with monstrosity and it ticked from 7 to 8 while they were doing that. Uh,
Really?
Anecdotally on my Discord, I'm pretty sure our friend from Bahamut noted that. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'll need confirmation, but I'm that was a conversation that happened in my Discord this week. That's why I brought up monstrosity. Otherwise, I wouldn't have brought it up.
While we were on break, I formed an event to farm the title for the Shadow NM
Hmm.
that started in utter disaster and caused a lot of drama.
Oh,
And then the next week we did it, and I think most drama has been quelled.
well, that's
Mm.
good.
Uh, Camped the Lambton Worm title, which took me probably a solid 2 weeks, which was miserable.
Oh, why
Oh yeah, you
took
were
you
camping
two
that worm for
weeks to get
forever.
that?
It took about 2 weeks to get it, yeah.
Jesus.
That's crazy. I had some really good small server, moderate size server luck. One
Mhm.
day on a whim, we were just like, you know what? Let's go out and see if any of these dragons are up. And like I went out to Ottawa Chasm and we found Zalotl on the way, killed Zalotl, which is a title, and then Fafnir was up.
Mhm.
Left Ottawa, went straight to King Rampir's tomb. Vertra was up,
Wow.
killed Vertra, and then went straight to Uligron Range and Yorm was not up. But
Mhm. That's
you know,
crazy.
You've yet to find Yorm, right?
I've yet to find Yorm. I did get the home point today though, which I'm really excited about.
Mhm.
Much shorter run.
Proud of
Mm.
you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. So before we launch into the emails, I do have to put a disclaimer out there. In sometime in the next hour or two, while we're recording this, you're probably going to hear a shrill little bark coming behind me.
Okay.
And I'm probably going to have to step away as needed. And if you hear me exclaiming or swearing or like just like smacking something against like a wooden table or something, it's just
Oh,
because I got a new puppy 2 weeks ago, and that's why we didn't record last week because I spend most of my time these days wrangling this puppy and making sure that he doesn't kill himself chewing wires or kill our cat or something like that. So I apologize for any disruptions during the broadcast, but
Mhm.
we'll do our
shrill little
best.
borks and you stepping away are like two positives.
I agree. So it might just be the Dex and in fact I almost suggested maybe just doing the Dex and Heghmoh show, but I wanted to be here, hang out with you guys.
Go
So
on.
let's go ahead and dive into our emails. We got 7 of them today, so we're gonna burn through these as fast as we
So if
can.
you want to skip fast forward through the emails,
Mhm.
go about 1 hour.
Maybe we'll see. It
and then
might be
the
more.
and then the podcast will be over and you can just go on to the next.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, let me just link a different podcast for you guys. So that way,
We can break it up.
yeah. All right. So our first email here is from Fet. It says, short and sweet email here. Over the last year or two, there's been a clear desire to make older content a bit less grindy to help newer players catch up on. Ultimately, I think this is positive, but curious. Are there any changes you don't agree with and think that shouldn't have happened? So let's answer that first. Are there any changes you guys don't agree with for ease of access and think should not have happened?
I don't think
Hmm.
gatekeeping what we've been able to do is
Right.
ever a good.
Yeah.
Um,
I've heard some people complain.
I would like to know
Primarily
what the complaints are because I don't have them.
I
Yeah,
think
what are some examples? What are some examples of things that have changed that maybe
Omen
Dude,
cards,
the Omen got
ooh.
easier.
Dynamis. Dynamis got
Dynamis got a
much
second
easier.
zone
Yeah.
for people to enter
Mm-hmm.
daily in
Mm-hmm.
order to get job unlocks, but you can't access wave 3.
The biggest complaint I heard about was for Imperators, which I don't agree with the complaint. I think it's a great thing that they did to reduce that time.
Why? What was the complaint?
Just because, you know, people put in 6 months of time to do it, so that new people
Shut
should
the
also
fuck
have
up.
to. I agree. Yeah. Personally, I'm all on board with the the stuff that makes it easier for newer people.
I always hate that crybaby excuse where it's like, I had to grind for 6 months,
Yeah.
and then tomorrow this guy's gonna have to grind for 3. It's not fair. I want him to have to suffer too. Fuck
Right.
you.
Right.
Grow the fuck up. You
Yeah.
played the game during a period of time where these things were more relevant and they took longer to do. They're less relevant now, and it's about time people come back and have the opportunity to do them easier and catch up to
Yeah.
you.
Hmm.
I think especially with stuff like imprimaturs, I don't think they did enough personally.
I
I think
agree.
that they
I
should
agree.
have reduced it even more.
Yeah.
Um, but um, yeah, I don't know. I think that omen changes like are also super welcome. No link shells that I know are doing consistent regular omen farms like they used to because it's slightly less relevant.
Hmm.
Dynamis has been like especially for a lot of people, but for me especially like I do Dynamis for the link shell, and so when I need to unlock Blue Mage or Puppet Master or something like that, I'll never get to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like I have to go on certain jobs to make it work. Um, but I don't know. I don't think that there's anything really that has been reduced in difficulty that I think is like was a step too far
Yeah, I agree.
necessarily.
Anything to increase the accessibility to put more players into the economy, I think is a good step.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
So the
The
second
problem right
half,
now,
Mhm.
right, is that there's too many activities pulling people in different directions. So,
Mhm.
like Limbus, for example, requires you to do 10 hours of grind a week if you want to max it. And then Sortie is an hour each day. And then
Mhm.
Odyssey is an indeterminate amount
Mm.
of time plus 30 minutes a day.
Right.
People don't have time to do those older activities, even if newer players want to do them. Their more veteran, seasoned compatriots don't want to do those activities.
Well,
So,
that segues perfectly into the second half of the email. And he goes on to say, what do you think still needs adjustments to bring it in line with the more modern Final Fantasy XI they're trying to create? And he, as an aside, he says, I'm currently working on the Carnwen Hand and Einerjar assaults, Nizul Alex, and it's just soul training. The last mythic grind in Old Lilith with 900 kills, easy kills to get 5 out of 5 armor caused me to give up on the game for a few years. They fixed part of the mythic process, or they fixed part of that. Can the mythic process get some love? And it ends with, why did mythics have to be so good? So I'm
email
glad
to
that
read
they
before
made.
the Mythic tier list.
Sorry, Dex, you got cut out there.
That's okay. I said this was the email to read before the Mythic tier list, and then it's like, why are Mythics so good? And let's talk about it.
Yeah. Um, I'm glad that they made Lilith easier, even if it's not
Oh, hell yeah.
really easier. It's just kind of like they kind of fixed what should have been done to begin with, right? Um, but I don't know. What do you guys think are some other like more time saving things? Personally, I think they should have changed Imperators to how the assault tag system works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the campaign op, all of them.
Yeah, yeah. I think even 3 months, I think is silly, especially for a rune fencer and a geo, because I mean those things are so the ergon weapons are so fundamental for both of those jobs. I'd have no problem with a new player like grinding for a week or two to burn through one of those. You can already do that with a relic. Why not let the geo and rune fencers do that too?
If you made imprimitors build up like every 2 hours,
Hmm.
the grind then becomes just going to get plasm, which is fine.
Right.
It's not like it's a little tedious when the campaign's gone,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
otherwise, who
Yeah,
cares?
the
I mean,
plasm and the HP bailed really is would be the main thing. So
if you take away the coalitions from the equation,
hmm.
then you could make the argument that compared to every other Rima in the game, they're a little too easy to make because there's not a lot of requirements.
Hmm.
But like, it's 2 jobs, dude,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they're 2 of the most important weapons in the game. Like,
Well,
it's not
also
a
like I feel like more so than anything else, those two jobs require those remas. You
yeah.
know, like I think
Hmm.
that there's like a few exceptions to like Horn or something like that where they're very similar, but like Geo and Rune Fencer need those to operate. They don't have any alternatives really to get to their pinnacle, and it's a such a long like wait to get to that point.
Hmm.
Here's my question to the community or whomever's really like feeling this way about it. Would you rather go out into the world and see everyone have to wait for their equipment the same way you did for your own satisfaction?
Hmm.
Or B, would you rather join a party with a random geomancer and they always have their Idris every time?
Right. As long as they also have a the correct bell, making sure that they actually have their
I'm
done.
done with you.
Yeah. I don't think that'd be unreasonable. And you know what else? I think they could just take the Nizul tokens out of the mythic process. I think they could do it. I would be okay with that.
There should be a campaign that doubles Nizul tokens.
That'd be cool too.
I don't know why
Or
there should be just more campaigns that are
Mm.
more Rima focused.
I think they should just get rid of Nizolisle and give it the Limbus treatment.
I don't want to get
Personally.
rid of
No,
anything.
get rid of it. Give it the Limbus treatment. Let it be open. Like, but you have people like traveling up the floors, doing your objectives. Lets you move on to the next floor, and then the every 20 floors can have like a world boss like Limbus does.
You just said give it the Limbus treatment, and I
Mhm.
like
You
gagged.
threw up in your mouth a little bit.
Let the past die. Kill it if you have
Look.
to.
It's not that I want it to have the Limbus treatment. It's that I don't want to have to grind for tokens anymore.
You'd rather not grind for tokens, but grind for
Well,
Ichor?
Yes.
Ew. You're a bad
yeah.
person.
Well, I think that they should also change Einherjar. Einherjar is such a convoluted system to go in, and it's soloable, and
Mhm.
it's like convoluted to allow for 36 people to go in at the same time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, just make it a party entry, remove the lamp or something. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Just like let us go in on repeat if we want
Heghmoh,
to.
you're not on Asura or Bahamut or Odin. How is it to get your Ichor?
It's just tedious. It's not like there's no fighting the entry point. I know that that's a
Okay.
problem with some people. Like very, very rarely the instance is occupied, but I've seen it like one time.
Mhm.
You know?
So every day that if you're trying to make a mythic on Asura, every day that
Yeah.
you go to that door, there is probably 25 people AFK, and you don't know if
Mm.
they're actively trading or not.
Mhm.
And very often you'll trade, get nothing, go to the next tier 3, trade, get nothing, go to the next tier 3, trade, get nothing. Do
Yeah.
this about 15 times before you give up and settle for a tier 2.
I normally don't even try to get a tier 3 on Azure anymore. When I made my
Yeah.
last mythic,
That's
I
crazy.
was just like I know
That's
I'm not gonna
crazy.
get it, so I just go to the tier 2s.
The annoying thing for like Shiva is just like it takes 30 seconds to clear, and you have an hour wait, and you have to run back to Nashmau. You can't even like AFK there and then just wait for the next one.
I think
So
the
like either
perfect
way,
fix the
yeah.
perfect fix for Inherior to make that problem not a factor
Mhm.
would be to raise every single wing up to Odin 2's drop rate.
Mm. I'm
Odin
gonna
2 gets like 3,600 points. And then if you made all the tier 1s, tier 2s, and tier 3s give 3,600.
I'm gonna put a hot take out here. I don't mind the hour lockout for Inerger. I don't
Yeah,
mind it.
you're the only
Really?
one that
Yeah.
feels that way.
I think they should fix the entry for sure. Like the lamp is asinine. The lamp
But
is
what I'm
silly.
saying would fix that.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
I do agree it needs to get
but
fixed. I don't know what
yeah,
happens.
but I don't think waiting an hour is the end of the world, considering, well, one, you're doing a mythic, you have 8,000 other things you could be doing. And
True.
if you wait until the last minute to do your iCore, that's just poor planning on your part. And two, like it's not like it takes 6 months to do. You can get your iCore in like what, 2 weeks if you go in consistently. And that's not like 24 hours a
It's like
day. That's just like
51 hours of grind.
yeah. That's not a big ask. It's really not. So all I'm saying is I don't think the lockout is that big of a deal. I
I
do
just
think
think
the entry system
comparative
is
to
dumb.
other Arima, it is.
If
Mm.
yeah, but if you got rid of the tokens, it wouldn't be. So it's fine. So
I
my
just
system is
yeah,
perfect.
the only other thing is that like mythics are
Yeah.
I know that they are exceptional, and they are like we've talked about this before. Like mythics are very job centric
Mhm.
versus some of the others are like weapon slot centric. So like they're more generic, and mythics are very like pointed to the jobs, and they have very key like buffs to
Mhm.
those specific jobs that make them really powerful. Um, but like every time I've done a mythic, I get to the point where I've finished tokens, I've finished Ichor, and I've finished my books, and I'm like, oh fuck, finally. And then I'm like, oh, there's still like three
There's still more
steps.
things
You
to
know what I mean?
do.
Yeah, I forgot that this isn't the end.
I have to
Yeah.
do ZNMs and
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh
The
my
the
god, I haven't even done
ZNMs
Etienne trials yet.
yeah, the ZNMs are my breaking point for mythics. They're
Yeah.
terrible. But to be honest, on Azura, it's not that big of a problem because, like, I'll be honest,
You can just
I'll pay somebody
buy
four
your way
mil
through.
for
Yeah.
the for a clear instead of doing a ZNM climb. That's crazy. Um, But that's just me. Don't murk, kids. I think we can
Mhm.
move on to the next email from Milo on Cerberus. It just says FFXI podcast questions. It's all you, Dex.
I'm looking for the one you're. Oh, okay, you jumped over one.
Did I?
Oh, you did that on purpose because this one's long.
Oh, you're right. It did. Okay, we can do the economy discussion too. My bad. I didn't even. I just clicked the wrong one.
All right. This is the economy discussion from Michelob on Phoenix.
Mhm.
Michelob says, I just listened to your podcast where you addressed an email on the economy and such, UNM part 2. Very kind of him to point us to the right episode.
Mhm.
As a crafter, I think each of you are drastically underestimating the impact of those 1.1 million vendor purchase craft items. I don't think so. I think they're. I'll get to his point. Every SU5 and +2 neck uses one in their synthesis, as
Mm.
you know. You blow up most of them. On top of the blow-ups, each successful craft consumes one as well, including the SU4 and +1 necks. To put it into perspective for you, why are you grandstanding? Every crafting session where I run 12 SU5 and 12 +2 neck attempts consumes 6 to 12 of those items. This means each time that you do a crafting session, I'm drawing 7 to 15 mil out of the economy via vendor purchases as a result. The
Mm.
income made from any successful HQs does not add new gil into the economy. It just moves it around. Yeah, player to player. This is absolutely the main draw of gil out of the economy. I personally have bought hundreds of them, and there are more prominent crafters around than myself. Anyone producing multiple of these items on a weekly basis probably buys more than 1,000 a year, representing billions of gil removed through these vendor purchases. Before I continue, I would need a refresher on what we said because I could on any given week, like I could flip flop on certain issues if I'm not
Yeah.
passionate about them.
Uh-huh.
Um, I would say there needs to be more gil sinks in the economy. I'm wondering if he's arguing that this is enough. Because I believe this topic was brought out when
Mm.
what item? Oh, probably discussing the Hoxney Ampula,
Yeah,
right?
I believe so. Yeah.
All right. Also, later on when talking about Mephitis's ring, you missed the only reason that I carry this, which is it's best in slot for Merker MP recovery. Oh, it gives a fat MP stat, doesn't it?
Yeah, I actually messed that up because when I talked about death, I meant Merker. I just brain farted and wasn't thinking
For
correctly.
this set, you'll want an HQ and an NQ.
Hmm.
Is that true? Wow. Strong. Now for the question. What is each of your favorite pieces of content in the game? For me, it's the Odyssey Shield jail fights. And that's it. Cheers, Michelob.
Yeah, thanks for the email.
What is my favorite piece of content in the game?
Mm.
Um, I think I have the most fond memories of the jail fights,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it's my favorite piece of content because it's kind of like once you do it, it's done with.
Hmm. I think my fondest memory, like nostalgia wise, would be early Sky Gods when you were doing like
Mm.
Byakko and Kieran are the two that come to mind. Byakko was the very first like real NM that I tanked on Paladin Sub Ninja, and it was a blast. For modern content, it's definitely Odyssey Shoal Jail. I've said before, I think that's some of the best content they've ever put out. I love those fights.
Yeah, I think jail might be my favorite. Like the more I think about it, like I really enjoy sortie. Um, I enjoy how like wide it is to welcoming players, whereas jail's a little. It kind of like makes you meet other requirements before you get there.
Hmm.
But jail is just such a nice puzzle, and
Yeah.
jail's really fun and difficult and challenging.
Yeah.
I would say that like the Shield Jail NMs are probably the most well tuned and designed stuff in the game, but it's not by any means my favorite thing to do. You know what I mean? Like I find them like I don't know. They're a little bit stressful and like getting these very specific compositions and all this other stuff is it's not my personal most fun way to play. Um, this might not be I might like set a few fires with this answer, but currently the most fun that I've had playing this game
Here it
in
comes.
recent
It's
memory
Limbus.
is
Amen,
Limbus.
Tro.
Limbus.
Oh,
Limbus, yeah.
Lim.
Limbus NMs,
Yeah.
Ultima, Omega. Like I've had so much fun doing those with the server, and like I have not felt the like excitement and joy of like Zorak, one of our officers in the Link Shell, texting me at 7:30 in the morning, and me like bolting out of bed, like, "Oh, the tier twos are up," and like running to my computer. You know, like I was 16
Oh,
again.
man.
It was awesome.
Heghmoh, I just want you to know that we have it recorded how many times that you and I have gone back and forth on defending and shit talking Limbus.
Yeah.
And you have so now
It was a
that
great episode, guys.
now that you've come around, I
Yeah.
just want to say I told you so. So you're welcome for that.
And I mean, look, I mean, I think Limbus has its flaws.
Mhm.
It's not perfect. I think that the climbing system of Limbus is obnoxious. There's a lot of stuff that I don't like about it, but the this recent pack of NMs, at least for the first round, is currently my favorite thing.
Yeah.
I think the NMs are great, and we're gonna get into this later, obviously. I think the NMs are great and they're fun and they're interesting, but I think the chaos of them being server wide is a detriment. And
Mhm.
I think how they are spawned and how they operate in terms of the grand scheme of the reward structure in Limbus, uh, save your answer for a month or two from now and see if people are
Yeah.
actually trying to kill them
Yeah, for
anymore.
sure.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that I have a like I will say the chaos, as much as I was like, starting to rage and like literally shouting in the Ultima fight as people were running away too soon and like just spreading the halos out like across half the map because they'd run too early. Be like, stop running early, stay until they pop. And people would still be like backing up slowly. Um like the server chaos, I think adds to the fun to a degree. It's kind of like I think they're designed to be server chaotic, but at the same time, I do agree that
Mhm.
like I'm afraid of what's going to happen in 2 months or 3 months or 4 months when people are less excited.
Mhm.
We already know, like on Shiva, especially, like I know Asura has an opposite problem where you guys never see the NMs because they're dead already. But on Shiva, like it's me and 3 people, me and like Zorak and a couple other people that do all of the NMs every single time, all the base NMs,
I
the
don't want you to
job
burn out,
class ones.
especially if you like it,
Yeah.
right?
And
Yeah.
so like people have already given up on that. And so what happens when they're like, oh, we don't have to do this. Like somebody else will take care of it. I'll get my reward anyway. That kind of stuff like will happen eventually. And I'm a little bit afraid of it, but also part of me is like, by the time that happens, we'll know how to handle those NMs, that it'll be easier without the server there.
I hope
Right.
you're
So
right.
like
Yeah. Cool. Unless you guys have anything else, we will go ahead and dive into the next email. And this one is from Milo on Cerberus. And he says, "Hi there, guys. As they say, you never really quit Final Fantasy XI. You just take long breaks." It's very true. I've been obsessed with 11 since before the NA release. I remember watching videos of alliances struggling to beat Circuit and Gustav Tunnel at the original level 50 cap. I was a Black Mage Taru named Milo on Cerberus, and over time, I seem to alternate between a couple years active and 3 to 4 years dormant. So I think that's pretty normal. I think that's pretty normal for the modern day player. That always seems to be enough time for the itch to come back. I haven't played since pre-COVID, but the YouTube algorithm decided to tease me with your podcast a few days ago. And the next thing I know, you're blasting through the episodes. I'm pouring through Auction House and BG Wiki and diving into Discords, and the itch is back. Hey, that's what we're here for. If there's one thing that we're here for, it's to get you itching a little bit to come back to 11. I can't believe I'm almost in 2026 reading about planned updates to Play Online, updating the dev kit to be able to add new models and potentially even new zones. And in combination with the rumor that Final Fantasy XIV might be preparing to do another full reset, I'm allowing my imagination to run wild with what they might have some sort of combo promotion plan in the future. But anyway, the topic I'd love to discuss in the new gameplay opportunities that have become possible thanks to gear creep and master levels. I've always loved exploring the more niche capabilities that jobs can bring to the table. I'm the type of player that is happy to be the second or third place in terms of damage, but also bring in a lot of extra unique functionality. It's hard to dig up this type of info compared to the meta strategies, but I'm seeing things that seem totally novel to me, like emphasis on TP denial techniques from Monk, Beast, Dark Knight, Summoner, healing role being covered by Beast, Blue Mage, Paladin, Dancer, cleaving being efficient with more jobs thanks to daggers and staves, or even the possibility of building mana tanking sets for Black Mage or counter tanking for Beastmaster. That kind of stuff is so cool. I know the more niche things aren't going to be the most effective in the latest content, but the majority of the time I'm about to sink into the game is probably not going to be the latest content. I feel like there's kind of a sweet spot nowadays where the second and third and fourth latest content might now be trivial for endgame players, but they remain quite challenging for those people that are working their way through for the first time. And with the new gear and more powerful sub-jobs, that could be a playground for clearing stuff in the game a bit differently than just warrior and nagling spam. So I'd love to hear your thoughts about some of the unexpected roles that have become possible thanks to how powerful jobs have become, or unusual party setups that are built, making some niche strategies work.
Well, I think he hit the nail on the head there. Like, he
Mhm.
nailed it.
Yeah.
There's so many like alt job things you can do, and stuff like Limbus, where I may not enjoy it because of how grindy it is and how you know little reward you get per your time commitment. But it's definitely a playground for you to just mess around with job comps
Mm.
or
Oh, absolutely.
strategy.
I
Like
love it.
just the other day, Shiraj was doing a run with us, and he healed the whole run on Beastmaster.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, it's so
I'm not
That's
strong.
gonna
awesome.
say I'm not gonna say to everybody I'm gonna be shouting for a Beastmaster healer because I don't
Yeah.
trust anyone to do that.
Right.
Right.
But it certainly can be done, especially
Mhm.
if you're dedicated.
I think part of it
But at the
has to
same
do with being able to trust the people that you're playing with when you do
yeah.
fun stuff like that.
I also think too, like it's important to remember people often like meme about the nagling warrior, right? Or like, oh, everybody just uses nagling, and I think that that's true.
Hmm.
In like he referenced like the second third string content a little bit where it's like stuff that isn't cutting edge. It's so easy at middle level content to overpower with nagling, and it's super common. But I think that like how many strats can you guys think of in the highest end of content that is nagling warrior centric? Or
Oh,
like you don't bring nagling warrior to V25s for the most part.
Right.
You don't bring nagling warrior to Ammonon. You don't you know what I mean? Like and all of those fights for the most part, Ammonon strats use a healer paladin and a dancer. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or they're using a magic strategy with scholars and black mages. So like I think that a lot of the high end content actually more so than anything invites these kind of obscure things to happen.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think there's any job that's not viable right now. I really think that outside of like the highest end Swordy and Odyssey stuff, unless you're trying to like accomplish a very specific goal, you can bring just about any job. Um,
Yeah.
whether or not like you'll be comfortable on it, it just depends on what you're bringing to support yourself and the group that you're with, really.
The disparity in output is not so wide between the lowest end job and the highest end job.
Yeah.
It's just in those bleeding edge, you know, activities where you see the difference enough to not warrant, bringing something else.
Mhm. Yeah. But like we've talked about Beastmaster being a healer before. We talked about tanking on Blue Mage, like tanking Ammonon on Blue Mage. I think that's
Hmm.
super cool. Honestly, there's so much stuff. It reminds me of like when Odyssey segments came out and Bard Sub Paladin was a valid tank for a lot of groups, or using a ninja as an evasion tank. in
Yeah.
Odyssey segments. Like that stuff is a lot of fun. And if you look for it and figure out like what boxes you need to check to make it viable, then I think it's totally cool.
Yeah. And I think too, like people always will say like, oh, like ninja's in a really bad spot. And
Mhm.
I think it's really healthy to acknowledge that ninja is in a lot of ways in a really bad spot. Like I don't think like
Right.
feedback to the dev is important to be like, hey, like this job is suffering.
Mhm.
Like you should maybe take a look at this. But at the same time, there are many people that come into Twitch chat, come into YouTube, and they're like, oh, my ninja can do this. My ninja does 8 boss sorties. My ninja, Dex has said he's done 8 boss sorties on Blue Mage. It's like
Mhm.
you can do a lot of really, really cool stuff on even the jobs that are considered off meta. You just have to be passionate enough to push it. It's easier to fit into a meta comp, but if you're willing to like put the work in, you can make a lot of things work that people say are blanket just bad.
Right.
The problem with off meta jobs that people who like strive to just work with meta jobs, right? Who don't care about those off meta strategies. The off meta jobs can function and do the same thing to an extent, but they hit a ceiling.
Mhm.
And then, those players who are really dedicated to just getting things done or getting the most done don't want to hit that ceiling. They just want to get the extra.
Right.
And that's not to push people away from doing those off meta things. You can still do, we've seen on the forums people doing 9 boss with monk or with multiple monk.
Mhm.
I know
Mhm.
Heghmoh hasn't done it yet, but he's close.
Yeah.
Like if you're dedicated to trying an off meta strategy, you can make it work.
Yeah, absolutely. Personally, I think the best case for the quote unquote meta is for shout groups and people that don't know each other because it gives you
Yeah.
like an outline to work off of.
Yeah.
Um
You
I
can just follow the template and fall into line and get things done the way that's been established.
Right. I think it's very, very feasible for people to do most content, even a lot of the harder content with off meta jobs, as long as you approach it the right way. Like I've heard of people doing 8 boss melee with Beastmaster. I've heard of people doing V25 Kalunga with a Beastmaster instead of a warrior. Um, the possibilities are endless, and I think that gets lost in the sauce a lot of the time when people are drowned in spreadsheets and Final Fantasy Auction House forums posting about meta only strats.
Well, I think it's not just that, right? Like I think you kind of hit a perfect point there in that the shout groups aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Me and you and Shiraj are on Asura, where
Yeah.
that type of community that is willing to just shout and make groups is a lot more common than on the smaller servers
Yeah.
where you kind of make your own community and work within each other. And on those smaller servers, I think those off meta strategies thrive because you
Mm-hmm.
work with what you have
Yeah.
and
Very true.
you develop those strategies
Yeah.
around what you have.
And I think like what you were saying earlier is like Shiraj, the Beastmaster healed your Limbus group or whatever, like that kind of stuff. That doesn't happen in a shout group. If you join a shout group and you're like, hey guys, I want to come Beastmaster, I'm gonna be the healer. They'll laugh at you and they'll kick you out of the party, right?
Yep.
Yes, I
That's
Because
would.
the
true.
shout groups work as a meta. That's the only reason they work because you're doing something that's done all the time. But the opportunity to do off meta stuff is in friends groups. You have to prove yourself first. You have to prove yourself that you're a competent player, you're willing to think outside the box and you can pull it off. And then people like Dex will be like, hey, you know what? If you think you can do it, I trust you. Let's try it. And that's
Or we
where like
won't,
some of that
and you
experimentation is
just
going to
won't be
come
able to do
in. Yeah. That-
it. Just kidding. Um, yeah. Have fun. Who cares?
yeah.
Especially in Limbus. Like Limbus
Yeah. Yeah.
is like the nobody should ever take that seriously. And if you do, if you're one of the people that is like, "Oh, I don't like your sub job or whatever," and you decide
Yeah.
to leave, thank you. Then I think you should be ashamed of yourself. So
Yeah,
that's it.
I think if you're doing hardcore um like specific sub job comps, Limbus chest climbs. Like I don't know, then you
It's
might
like
need
an
to assess
oxymoron right there.
a few things. You know what I mean? It's
Just the
like,
other day, I subbed out a DD for a second core and subbed
yeah,
out a healer for a Geo, and I was like, "We're fucking cranking
yeah.
today."
Yeah,
I mean,
it's funny because just
if
the
I'm
other day I
doing
saw somebody that was like, "Oh, you're sub dancer. I don't want to be in this group," and left. I was like, "Okay."
if I'm
Nice.
gonna do five Limbus chests in two different zones and spend however many hours of my life doing that every single week, like I have to switch to Beastmaster every once in a while. I have to switch, like I have to play different jobs, otherwise I'll go insane. So and the content's easy enough, especially when you're just farming chests, that it doesn't really matter. I think that Limbus is ultimately, when you're doing chest grinds, it's a leveling system, not a end game content
Right.
system. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think we are good to move on to the next one. Thank you, Milo, for that email. Really appreciate it. And Dex, you got the nice short one.
Whoa. From Cosmos. Hey, how's it going? I'm a big fan of your podcast. Recently, I've been thinking about getting back into Dark Knight and would mainly want to use Scythe instead of Greatsword. What are the community thoughts on the Ambuscade Scythe? It would also be cool to hear you guys talk about the Ambuscade weapons, Mythics, as well as the SU5 weapons eventually. Thanks, Cosmos.
Why'd you give him that
Um,
voice?
I just wanted to be a little more
Oh, okay.
animated while reading.
Got it. Got it.
The caffeine
He was
starting to hit.
excited. He likes ambuscade weapons. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I got
I
the
will.
caffeine
I want
ready.
to jump in. I want to jump in first before the haters speak up.
Go ahead.
I think Dark Knight's in a great spot, and they're going to tell you otherwise. Okay, go ahead.
I know you said you like scythes, but get the great axe.
No,
That's
bad
all I'm gonna
advice.
say. The ambuscade great axe for Dark Knight is really, really good.
Um,
If you're just starting, yeah, I can see
no,
it.
no, no. Sarcasm aside, like that is probably the best weapon from Ambuscade for Dark Knight.
Mhm.
I think the
Well,
great sword is really
uh,
poopy. I think
well,
the sight is cute and solid.
Dark
I think
Dark Knight can
it'll
use
be
nagling.
replaced. Man, I guess. Yeah. I think wow, I can't remember the name of it. Lycurgos?
Lycurgos,
Yeah,
yeah.
like
Yeah,
Kurgos,
I think Lycurgos is probably the best uh
yeah.
overall damage, but like you're not wrong in that you'll probably see like better spike damage from nagling, especially with the
Mhm.
blurred.
Mhm. Um,
Depends on whether or not you'll get skill chains, right?
yeah. Well, the cool thing like about like Kurgos is the TP bonus is based off your HP. So Dark Knight can artificially inflate their HP so high, they can
Yeah.
essentially turn it into a Chango that they're using. Um,
Mm.
And then the scythe specifically, I don't think the scythe for ambuscade has too many uses. That's not to say scythe is bad in general, but can't think of too many scythes outside of Rima scythes that really shine off the top of my head.
There's the one from Absolute Virtue, I believe, that's okay.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Or not Absolute
Oh,
Virtue,
from
of
Word of
Courage.
Courage. Yeah. Yeah, Scythe is one of those things where it's struggled
Or
for a
Dirt.
long time. Even like a lot of people use APOC, a lot of people use like a few of the others and have really great success with it. But it's always kind of struggled and been a little bit behind, especially something like Khaled Bulg and just torque lever spamming. So Scythe never really had its day. And if you're talking about ambuscade weapons, like you're not quite ready
Right.
to start this journey, but like the Prime Scythe changed that. It's the I feel like the Prime Scythe did for Scythe Dark Knights what it did for Bow Rangers. Like it's like finally you get your day. This is the best option for this weapon type for you. And I mean, you might not jump into that immediately, but it is in a potential future for you where you could eventually have your cool Scythe Dark. You might just have to take a few detours to get there.
You're definitely not wrong. I think overall, Dark Knight was in a very great sword centric meta because of just the simplicity of it. Um, the niche players who wanted to see like bigger DPS numbers would kind of gravitate towards the Mythic Scythe, and find scenarios where that worked out better. I don't think you would see the same raw numbers as you would with Torque Cleaver. But in terms of like a low end gaming scenario, in general, Greatsword is just like the hack and slash, and Scythe is the skill chain weapon. I think it's always been that way. Like Scythe makes multi-step darkness very easy. If you're gonna be in a situation where you're a newer player or a less geared player, and you're kind of debating what ambuscade weapon is better for you, I think there's a lot of options that aren't ambuscade weapons that are decent. Like the great sword from Unity was really good. Montante.
Montante plus and plus
So
one.
you
Yeah.
could probably get a Montante and if you already have a Nagling, because I think you should make Nagling first no matter what. If you already have that, you could probably make the Ambuscade Scythe. That'd be strong. I was talking about the Scythe from Warder of Courage. I think that thing's pretty good still. It's called Dacnamania. It's got like 45 attack, 150 HP, big damage, Soul Eater 35, resist paralyze 50, crit damage, drain and Asper potency. It's got kind of everything. These are all like transition items though. I was gonna say like, if we're talking about ambuscade weapons, I could just do an impromptu tier list right now, and I think we'd all kind of be on the because I don't think we've
we
ever
can
talked
save
about
that.
ambuscade weapons, but it's not like we ever needed to.
Yeah.
What else did he say we could talk about? He said SU5 weapons eventually.
Mhm.
I know Mythics are on the horizon. Everyone's talking about it. It's been a long time coming. I think we might close out the year with that. But yeah, SU5s and ambuscade weapons could probably be talked about in one episode because they're both like really short lists. And by short, I mean, SU5s you wouldn't have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that when I made a Dark Knight a few years ago, and before I had anything else to use, I had like a bias situation because I had access to
Father Time.
Father Time, but that was, jumping into an SU5. Father Time can do pretty good damage.
I think Father Time is strong.
Yeah.
But you probably had it like Path B, right? Or Path A.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think from like a pragmatic standpoint, Father Time is still like relevant, but Path C for a drain macro.
Yeah.
There was a period of time during Embose 15 where Father Time was like the meta to go Path B and get subtle blow capped.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess still talking about Cosmos. I had to step outside with the puppy.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't even notice you left.
Yeah. Okay. Are you guys ready for the next one, or do you want to keep going?
Sure, we wrapped up. I had made lofty promises to do an ambuscade and SE5 weapon tier list eventually.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna do the Mythic tier list, and ironically, the next email we have is also about the Mythic tier list. So we have a few people asking for the Mythic one, but we will get it.
Be a New Year thing.
Let me dive into this one. This is from Finicky on Asura. It says, first and foremost, thank you for the pod. I look forward to every episode. Well, thank you for listening. We really appreciate
Sorry
that.
you had to wait.
Idea for an episode, Mythic tier list. I've Googled, I've Googled and searched on YouTube and found absolutely nothing. If you like Mythics, yeah, we're going to. Like it's on the list. I was thinking we would do it as possibly the first episode of 2026, since we've done so many. I'd like to kind of space them out a bit instead of doing them all back to back. But yeah, we're definitely gonna work on the Mythic tier list.
To be transparent, Finicky, Myth is the one that stops me from doing tier lists. Myth doesn't like them.
No, I don't want our entire content to be tier lists. That's all it is. He goes on to say, for me personally, I finished G-Horn, Dour Doblin, Marcius for my Bard. I'm unsure if it's time to commit to Karn Hand. Love to hear your thoughts on all of the Mythics progression. I've seen guides where people knock these out in a few weeks, but they've also seemed to struggle to accomplish certain requirements. What are the pain points of this process?
Talking about Mythics, making a Mythic?
Yeah.
I think the pain points are doing the content that isn't fun, like doing the token runs. It's not fun. It's
Right.
very tedious. It's very frustrating when you get hit with lamps.
Yeah.
You get detrimentally rewarded if you bring more than 3 people,
Hmm.
and then you have to have one person sit by the lamp and 2 people solve the stupid puzzle for the lamps. That's no fun. The time gate to Inheriar is not fun. Frustrating.
I
The
love it.
amount of
Like
gil
we already
you need
talked
to
about. I
invest,
love the time gate.
the amount of gil you need to invest, and the amount of inventory slots you need to hold for Alexandrite is ridiculous. Um, there's a lot of pain points for this content.
Yeah.
No one likes to do ZNMs. If you're not on
Mhm.
Asura, you probably can't buy them. You have to go through the process of doing that. That's no
Yeah,
fun.
I think the biggest like the blanket statement is like mythics are like early 75 era content that with the exception of changing the rate at which they give you assault tags, they've not scaled in any way. And so it's still the same requirements of doing like 6 months worth of content.
I didn't
To
even
like
address doing all 50
yeah.
assaults again.
And so like you've got to do so much work because it was such a huge milestone back then. But now it's more of an expectation. It's not like, oh
Yeah,
wow, you have a you know, a death penalty that you're top tier. You have a Burt Gang. It's like, oh, we need your paladin to have Burt Gang to do this. Like
Right. Right.
they're
You
more
don't have a bird
expected.
gang? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're more
kind
expected.
of
So like
expected. Yeah, that's the perfect way to
you kind of
understand one.
have to do it. And like it's this awkwardness of it being very low level content comparative to the current level cap where like all of it is trivial except for the time investment. So it just feels like it's like a weeks long or months long busy work project
Yep.
is the general pain point, I think, in my opinion.
Here's another pain point. If it's your first mythic, you have to do 100 assaults. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to go through all the books and then do them again.
I
You
think
know,
you should
like,
get the Captain Wildcat badge without having done assaults. Like that's a quality of life change
mm,
they could do. 90% of players won't even notice that, but like new players would be like, thank you, God."
Yeah. Yeah, the mythic grind is I think nobody would argue that it's the hardest one. Um
I would.
you would argue?
I hate Empyreans more. I think it's much more tedious.
Mm, okay, that's fair. All right, well, it still sucks either way. I think no one would argue that mythics suck. But yeah, I
They're
think
the top two, the worst two
yeah.
for sure.
But I don't know. Is there an easy part of mythics? I think that would be an easier question to answer. The easiest part of
The
mythics
ease
might
is,
be farming the weapon from 4100.
I think the ease is
yeah.
just the level of content you're interacting with. There's no challenge between any of the things you're doing. It's just busy work.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I mean, yeah, again, like it's all relatively easy. I can't think of any part of it that's like that's difficult.
Yeah, I'm not
Um,
threatened at any point.
yeah.
Um, to touch on their bard journey, they finished Gihorn, Dawardabla, and Marcius, and they're unsure if they should commit to Karmanhan. I think you should commit to Karmanhan. If
Yeah,
you've
I would do it.
taken if you've taken that much of a step into bard and done all that work, just
Mhm,
finish the job. Karmanhan is like such a massive quality of life
mhm.
for you, let alone the party, but you
Yeah.
in general, you not having to re-sing an additional time each round is just so much more comfortable and less stressful. I
And
think
when you get into like content like sortie, you know, where like you're trying to squeeze as much in, like that efficiency of not having to stop for an extra like 30 45 seconds to sing songs just to keep them
like
up.
6 times.
You know,
You're talking like
that's
4 or
yeah,
5 minutes saved, you're
yeah,
definitely gonna
5
get more
minutes.
content done.
There's so many times where like if you end a sortie, at least for me, I don't know about you guys, but like I end sortie runs all the time where I was like, oh wow, we've got 20 seconds left. You know, like
Yes,
that's not
all
enough time to stop and re-sing songs at least once.
no.
I stand by. I've always said that Carmen Han is like the biggest quality of life item, for the most part. But yeah, when you get into the very end game, it's such a huge value. Plus, I mean, Mordant Rhyme is an extremely good extremely good weapon
It's
skill.
probably Bard's second best weapon
Yeah.
skill after Savage Blade.
Yeah, that's good.
In general, I would agree with you, except I would put Look in the Shade first. But it has to be stage 5, and most players don't have access to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. We got 2 more emails, and the next one we can knock out real quick. It's another one from Cosmos. Thanks, Cosmos. And he says, I randomly came up with the idea of a job tier list. I think we should do a job tier list. So we have kind of one. We have our very first episode that was like official was a state of the meta where we talked about all the jobs. Heghmoh wasn't there for it.
Yeah,
and
so it didn't
was
really count. That's why
specifically
he probably
referring
thinks we need to do
to
it.
like their place in the meta of the game, like for like how involved they're going to be in endgame content and with groups and blah 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 blah. So I don't know if the desire is there to remake it or remake it based on different criteria. We
I
could
think we should do
potentially
that.
we could think about it. Yeah.
And have Heghmoh's perspective included.
Yeah, well, I'm not as concerned about Heghmoh's perspective. More so, like I want to make sure that the people are getting something fresh. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
I care about the viewers suddenly.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that like, when you put it in that perspective, Myth, like I think that it's more valuable for the viewers to get the perspective of somebody who plays the game, versus
versus someone who doesn't play. Like,
yeah. But no, like I don't know. Part of me is like, I can see Myth, like what you've said about weapon tier lists and stuff like that. Where it's like, do we need to do a tier list? You know what I mean? Like, is it fair to do a tier list? Because it's such a huge, like, broad thing to be like, oh, this job is good, this job's S, this one's F. Like, in what context, and what like you could put dancer in B, but dancer's required to do most Amazon strats, so it's S.
Hear me out. What if we had what if we did a job tier list, but we had 7 different tables all quantifying different things for it?
Okay.
So we could have a job tier list for sortie, and then right next to it we'll have it for Odyssey segment, and then Odyssey Kalunga, and then Odyssey Zevioso, and then Limbus, and then so on and so
I'm gonna
forth.
be sick that episode.
Yeah, we can do that when you decide to do your first 24-hour stream.
That's never gonna happen. So the thing is, I have a job. Is the problem with that? Is
True.
I have a job. I don't think Heghmoh's. Are you working?
This
right
is
now?
my
job
job,
is streaming,
currently.
buddy.
Yeah. See, as soon as my stream starts paying more of my bills, then I'll consider it.
You're the one who's always cutting
yeah.
the episode short. You're like, we can't do this. It's been too long, and now you're recommending like a 12-hour podcast.
I think it's time we should wrap this up here. Let's go ahead and.
I think that I think a job tier list is an interesting idea, but I think that we can challenge ourselves to come up with a system that isn't putting them on a S through F like chart that is talking
like 7
about
Heghmohs and 5 Heghmohs.
Yeah,
throw in some generous Arthurs. Yeah,
I think maybe what's like in like RPGs where like they have the circular grid of their like power scales.
At this and this one's great.
We should give everybody a power scale. Yeah.
Sure. Are we gonna like steal? We could do this a couple different ways. We could steal One Punch Man system. We could steal a Dragon Ball Z system. I'm sure there's some other.
What 9,000?
Yeah. But anyway, I saved the last long email for you, Dex.
Yeah, from Jim Willie. Jim Willie writes, "Thank you all for your weekly podcast. Thanks for taking the time. I'm a somewhat on and off player on Asura, and I wanted to ask you guys your thoughts on how I should best progress. I heard the recent email about the warrior who you recommended to get Sakpada and figured you all may be able to provide some assistance. I find myself in a similar position to the warrior who previously wrote in the show. I'm in consulting, and thus I have a very inconsistent play schedule, i.e. I play 10 hours on a Saturday and then not again for 2 weeks. Unfortunately, I have had to be out of town during Vanabout and missed AF+3 due to work. I'm trying to get into a group content following the BG Wiki's 119 to Endgame guide. I'm finishing up the story and hoping to solo as far as I can, but I've picked up some of the pug groups and teamed with some players through my link shell. Help new players. Thanks, Myth, for the recommendation. My best achievements have been soloing Cloud of Darkness using Scholar for the Rhapsodies of Vana'diel ending, and some Beast Gaze Feet Unity solos, such as the level 128 bomb that drops the club for Warrior. I've currently got my Warrior enabling and working on having someone help me with the Sekpata unlocks. And generally, soloing easy to get equipment, my White Mage, Scholar, Beast, Thief, Dancer are essentially just an ambuscade. Outside of that, though, I've leveled Warrior and White Mage and hopefully be picked up for some segment groups in Odyssey, or hopefully Sortie once I eventually get to the point in the game. My question is, what classes would be easier to gear solo that may enable me to enter Pug scene on Asura? I don't feel like I'm able to join a static or really engage with the other players as much as I would like due to my infrequent playtime. With that being said, I've been trying to gear my Warrior and White Mage, but I feel like I'm fairly behind on what other players are looking for in the Shouting Pugs. Would Paladin or Corsair be a better option? And if so, what gear farms would you recommend for these that are soloable? Is my case bad enough that I should just get 5 brothers who have the same playtime as me and join me in playing all from my house? LAN party? I'm trying to allude to multiboxing, but don't want to mention it due to the impression the show doesn't endorse it. Yeah, we
We
identify
sure
that.
don't.
Any advice is appreciated, and I really have enjoyed my on and off relationship with Final Fantasy 11. I've been playing somewhat on and off since 2010, and I'd like to engage more with demanding content. Thanks, Jim Whaley. That sucks you missed out on the AF3 coupon from Vanabout. That would have been very helpful. Is White Mage and Warrior too demanding from a gear or investment perspective for him to do pugs, or should he just focus on doing something like Paladin or Corsair that has a lower gear requirement? I don't think Paladin has a lower core, maybe, but then in pugs, you kind of see people expecting the Corsair to do like fat damage and doing all the crazy shit that like a high-end core would do. I think White Mage might be your best entry point, or Scholar, one or the other.
Yeah, I think it depends on what you're, if you're trying to get into Odyssey pugs or like very early sortie pugs, and like I'm the worst person to answer this because my server doesn't have that culture really. It doesn't happen very often. Um, in fact, there's somebody in my link shell that recently transferred over, and they're like, hey, we do 9 boss sortie. We will train you to join our
Nice.
static. Please come help. Please come play with us. If you can play any of these 5 jobs. And like they keep
Right,
asking,
right.
nobody's like everybody's afraid to jump in. But
Oh man.
I feel like if that was a shout on sortie, it would have filled instantaneously.
So that person joined your link shell and was like,
Sure.
they were asking
Oh.
you to transfer to their
Yeah.
server, or they came
No,
to your server?
they transferred off of Ashura, came to this server, and they're just trying to fill a spot. Yeah,
Yeah.
they on Shiva. So, but
So
it's
wait,
like,
that means they have 4 other people on Shiva. That's pretty impressive.
yeah, yeah. But
Um
like I think that it it depends on if what you're trying to get into. If you're trying to get into like low tier, getting Sakpada unlocks and stuff like that. I mean, I think that you can, I think that the first step is to not be afraid to this is a recommendation that we give people all the time. Start looking into building your own group. So people will
Yes.
be like less like, oh, you don't have Sakpada, rank 30 already, then you can't join the Sakpada unlock group. Like build your own group and you can make it work. And 2, like don't be afraid to join groups. Like don't be like too like nervous about like, oh, my gear's not good enough. I don't need to ask. Like just start trying stuff, I don't know.
don't block yourself from doing something. Do it and just be transparent about where you are in progression. And most
Yeah.
people, I would say, would be willing to accommodate you. And then some people who are more restrictive in their time or care more about, min-maxing shit, they might, tell you no. But what's the worst that can happen? You'll get a no. Like,
Yeah.
and also don't be afraid to fail. Like,
Right.
try things and you might fail. What's the worst? It's a video game. I'd rather not win every time.
And our forever suggestion is find the right people. Like find a link shell or something like that. I can speak from my link shell's perspective. If you're a new or returning player and like you're like, hey, I need a Sakpata V0 unlock. Can anybody help me? I can think of like multiple instances where people in link shell are like, all right, yeah, let's go right now. Let's go do it. Do you want to go now? Like people will do that for you to help you out and get you on your feet. You just have to find the right people and like join link shells and make friends and whatever else, participate in the community, and people would be more willing to give back, I think.
I'd say I haven't seen you around on Asura, probably due to your schedule. But if you see me around, I don't mind helping you do something.
Yeah. I will say that white mage is going to be the easiest job to, quote unquote, cheat until you like get some more gear.
Make it till you make it.
Yeah, you can pretty much do every piece of content up to like V20s as long as you have like an MP +1 legs. Like if you
get the Empyrean +1 legs and you're set.
Yeah, you get those and you have some DT in your set. And also I'd like to take this as a second to apologize that there's a domestic terrorist in my house that says
oh, okay.
So if you guys hear a bunch of background noise,
I haven't heard anything already. Really.
Okay, good.
No, you're good.
There's a monster running around and oh god damn. Anyway, yeah, play white mage. And
yeah, I think in general, like that's good advice too, is like if you're looking for what jobs to play to this is going to be a terrible answer in a lot of ways, but if you're looking for what job you should play to get an invite, it's almost always the one that you want to play the least. Like, because everybody feels the same way. Nobody wants to play white mage, nobody wants to play like geo or bard or these kind of jobs, and if you want to invest time into that, they're usually the ones that are easiest to get into parties because other people also don't want to do it. So if you find any enjoyment in white mage, then absolutely jump on that.
Yeah, I think it teaches you a lot about the game on top of being an easily accessible job that a lot of groups struggle to find.
Let's take a moment to admire the cute little baby.
Anyway, is that our last email? I think
it is.
I think it was. Okay, perfect. So finally we can get into the topic of the day, which is the December update.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago at this point.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about it so far? You've been playing around with it. You've been playing around with the new Limbus things. We'll go through the whole thing, but what are your overall first impressions?
It's hard to like my biggest disappointment is what I'll start with is that the Limbus system is not like exciting, to this release. Like I think that we were all really hyped about new gear, and they like hyped up this like new gear coming in December. What they meant was new gears coming in January. Maybe.
Right,
you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
they somehow created this extremely convoluted system where gear is delayed a month and rewards are delayed a month, and then we're gonna have to wait for crafters and all this other stuff. And so like we might start to get the exciting stuff next month, but it's awkward in that sense. So I'm not really happy about that. I wish that they had found another solution to make it work a little bit better. I said before earlier that like the NMs themselves, I was initially kind of like, oh man, I was hoping they'd be like more restricted fights that we could take like a static into, not big server objectives. But the fact that they're in their own arenas and like they are kind of isolated in a way, it's not. I was afraid that it would be a domain invasion dragon. So I actually was happy.
So here's
with how
my
they turned
question
out.
as
And
someone who hasn't played and hasn't done the fights yet. You said it's in its own arena and it's server wide.
Mhm.
How is that different from domain
Yeah.
invasion?
Because the requirements of the fight, domain invasion is like you go in, you clear the ad wave, and then you slap the dragon that's basically no threat to most players until it dies. Then you get points based on your participation. These are like you go in. There's 3 NMs. They link a massive range. You have to coordinate a tank party to grab each one. They're doing threatening damage and debuffs and things like that. So it feels like you have to strategize and do mechanics and things like that. So they're a little bit more fun and engaging to actually do rather than the spam of a domain invasion dragon.
Cool. Dex, have you done the fights yet?
How could I do the fights when they always happen at JP midnight when I'm sleeping?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
never will be
fortunately,
able to.
going back to the previous point, I don't have a job. So when JP midnight rolls around like midday,
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. Yeah.
I will never be able to do these fights.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
You didn't even get to catch like a tail end of Ultima or something that even popped like and was down within, you know, by the time you were
Ultima
up.
spawned later, but I was at work at that
Yeah.
point.
Okay.
It's just the way my schedule is. Like my
Yeah.
playtime is in the morning, which is like JP afternoon. I don't think it'll ever spawn at that point. It'll spawn at
Yeah.
midnight or later, and therefore it will not line up with my schedule.
Yeah. Which is actually we were kind of talking about this in the stream earlier. Really surprising for the JP player pace as well. I'd be interested to know what the Japanese players feel about this. Like because their INMs are spawning for them at midnight. Sometimes on weekdays, like all this other stuff. Like
Yeah.
they're probably in the same boat as you. You're probably a rare example of a North American play schedule that kind of plays on JP time, right?
Yeah.
So like, they're never getting to see anything either, and I wonder if that's something that'll change or be addressed, or I'm not sure.
I think the biggest detriment to Limbus's NM system for me overall is the fact that these and the mannequin NMs and now these new objective NMs, let's call them.
Hmm.
But both of those sets of NMs have a specific kind of like window in which they're going to
Yeah.
occur, and they should just be random.
Hmm. Well, I don't
If
know.
that's problematic,
Yeah.
if that's problematic in terms of the objectives that need to be met per week, then adjust the objectives, but make the
Yeah.
NMs random.
And without getting like derailed into like what's wrong with Limbus, as probably like the fourth or fifth time we talked about it, like I also think that the core problem is not only that, but also that none of the rewards require participation. I think that's great for people like Dex who are never going to be able to participate, but at the same time, it disincentivizes anybody from participating. There's so many people that I've seen talk about even the mannequins or the stuff where we died 20 or 30 times, and they're like, "Holy, I just lost so many exemplar points. I'm never doing this again." And it's like, well, we're still going to have to do it if you want the reward. You know what I
I
mean?
think
Like, so I'm going to have to die,
Myth missed out
but
on
I'll
it, so I
take
want to
it.
kind of give him a quick rundown. Like they added the new NMs. We didn't know when they would spawn, what they would do, but you would go into the zone, and there would be like a central checklist. In order to unlock central, these 4 objectives had to be met, and it would say like 0 of 100, 0 of 1,
Mhm.
0 of 100, 0 of 500, and you wouldn't know what they are, and you had to figure it out through trial and error. And then you'd find out like the 500 was kill 500 fairies or shadow dragons, and the 1 was find a question mark once, yada yada. Um, and then you did that. You spawned central. It opened up, and anyone could go in, and there were 3 NMs, the tier 1s,
Mhm.
and you killed them, and then the objective changed, and it's like, do these objectives to unlock central again for tier 2s. Did that over again, go in, 3 NMs, but they're stronger than the last wave. You kill them, great. Now do these objectives, and then you'll get Omega or Ultima.
Mhm.
And Omega and Ultima, I think they both required the 22 mannequin kills. So that was like the time
Yep.
gate for most players.
You have to do 22 mannequin kills. You had to do 2 sets of question marks popped.
Yep.
So for Temenos, that was a huge issue.
Yep.
And then you had to do random mob types was the other objective, where there'd be
So
random. We had
yeah,
fairies for one. We had stuff like that.
on Asura, the stopgap for Omega was the NMs because we had not killed them on the first
Yeah.
day for some reason.
Because they reset the weekend before, which is kind of
That's
weird. They
right.
don't reset with the patch time. They reset the Sunday with conquest tally instead. So a lot of servers didn't jump on them immediately.
So servers like Bahamut, Shiva, Fenrir, they all got to fight Omega before Ashura did. But consequently, Ashura, when it did spawn, had learned from what all the
Yeah.
other servers did and killed Omega in like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
that
then
was like kind of our Ultima too. Like we were like, oh man, we're gonna be behind because we were behind on
but then you
NMs, and
learned
like
everything,
it
right?
took us
Like I
forever
know
to get the
Shiraj was in
question
your
marks.
chat
And
telling you like,
yes,
oh, he's gonna pop the guys
Shiraj
in 1 minute. Get ready to run.
Shiraj literally like counted down with stream delay to the second when the halos popped. He was like 35 seconds, 15 seconds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And like they popped, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be awesome. And it was like no trial and error, no figuring out. He was just like, here's the solution. Yeah.
I know the first server that fought Ultima, I believe, was Bahamut, and it took them something like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. When they had initially said like, because they said Omega took them 30 minutes and Ultima took them 4 hours. And I was like, Ultima took us 3.5 hours.
I know Omega
Are
took
we about to
other
do
servers like 3
about to do
hours.
a 15-hour fight? Or
I watched
like
I
yeah.
watched Velner fight Omega while I was at
Yeah.
work, and that took him like 30 or sorry,
Yeah.
3 hours.
Wow.
They have interesting mechanics. I think
Yeah.
I stand by my point that the server-wide chaos does not make these fights more fun. I understand, chaos and failing over and over again. It creates like this like interesting, system where like when you finally do crush it, it's satisfying and it's unique experience. But I know from watching both these fights that very often people with pet jobs were trolling and like causing issues. I know from watching Velner's stream, people were like sicking pups on Omega and
Yeah.
making him run all over the map instead of being controlled, and it caused a lot of wipes. And people with
Well, I think
summoners sicking them at
I think
Ultima.
there were also people that like didn't quite understand the level of content yet. They weren't it was their first time seeing it, all this other stuff. So like I think that there were occasionally times where like when we first popped Omega, we're sitting there like just like watching it like, oh my god, it's we got here. I can't wait to fight it. And this rune fencer pops trust and just runs straight in. And I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. And he just like got one shot. And we're like, I don't think he was
Oh
trolling.
yeah.
I think he was just like, okay, let's go fight it. Cool,
Blissfully ignorant.
a new boss. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
It's an open
Yeah.
world boss. Nobody's fought it. Like it's Limbus. You're not expecting it to be that hard.
Yeah.
Who cares? And if you die, who fucking cares? Like it doesn't matter.
Given that they don't regen, I feel like these fights might devolve. Month after month, we'll see how attendance goes.
Yeah.
But I think they
Yeah.
might devolve into like bring jobs that can bust out fat damage in 10 seconds and then die and leave. Like Ranger,
think,
Eagle
well,
Eye Shot, Barrage,
yeah.
Weapon Skill, leave.
Some of the stuff that was interesting to me is that like when you wipe on Omega, you basically like he'll have 12 bits up, and when you pull him again it's chaos. And so like if you wipe, it's such a hard recovery, and it takes so much coordination. And so like they're very punishing in that sense if you don't get it right. And like Ultima, one of the servers, I think it was, I can't remember which server, they were like, yeah, we're locked out for a bit because the Gyves are on the entry point.
I know that happened
Somebody
on
pulled
Ashura
it back
too,
to the, yeah.
temporarily.
And so it's like like people control those fights so hard for being server objectives. I don't know if it was just they didn't think about it or like I don't know what.
It's kind of another
Uh
mirror situation where
yeah.
like one bad actor can really ruin the whole thing.
Yeah.
The Gyves I think need to get nerfed on Ultima. I'm all for the fight being challenging, but the way they operate in that they hit you from like 30 yalms and he spawns them randomly on anyone on the hate list, so he can spawn them across the map, pop them on top of people at the entrance, and lock people from getting into the fight because there's a Gyve at the entrance and mid
Yeah.
cutscene you're getting blasted. That's kind of problematic. They hit through walls and it's a tight like grid zone.
Yeah.
Uh there's the Gyves aspect from nuclear waste is just not good. Everything else about the fight's kind of cool. I like that all these NMs run at like cheat speed. Like
Oh yeah, they're so fast.
and they run at like
You just have
500%
this
movement speed. So they'll just blast somebody with a TP move or like, their animation, they swing their arm really slowly. The guy dies and then they just zoom off the map, off your screen. They disappear.
That's awesome.
Well, even like the polls were like when we were trying to recover from a poll from on an Omega, somebody would go in to grab it and we'd be ready to grab the bits, but like they'd be just sprinting across the map to the other direction. So you all have to kind of stand together and all this. It's a really there's a lot of interesting things. Vellner just mentioned how like DT doesn't seem to work at all from the player perspective in those zones. And so it's just like there's so many strange little things.
So there's no point in wearing DT.
That's what people say. I didn't realize that it didn't do anything at all until this point, but
I heard
maybe
somebody
we just
talking
didn't make
about heard
They were
somebody talking
getting
about
hit.
shadow tanking with Heghmoh though.
Yes.
What's
Shadow tanking seemed really strong. I can't speak for like evasion buffs and stuff because most of these fights seem to need some sort of magic mitigation. But shadows in general seemed very potent, especially for Omega. I really like what they did with Omega's his bits, in that
Yeah.
he summons up to 12 bits. There's a lot of them. For players who haven't seen the new fight, by bits I mean gun pods.
Yeah.
He summons the orbitals. They come out of his stomach or whatever, but they pop on players on the hate list rather than coming from him directly. The coolest thing about them is they're tied to his stance, right? So when Omega's on all fours, he has shock spikes, yada yada, and he takes some less damage, I believe. And then when he stands up, the gun pods will chase people rather than stand in place. But when he's on all fours, they're standing in place like fixed turrets and just spamming that shock move. That's a really cool mechanic. And
That's
Vellner
awesome.
chimed in on my evasion comment, and he says evasion seems to do fuck all on the NMs.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
Well, like
seems
what's funny is because
where-
the
Go
mannequin
ahead.
NMs are fully evasion based. Like they
Yeah.
bias evasion, and then you go in and you're like, okay, we'll use the same strat on Ultima, and it's like, nope, you won't.
It just seems like the kind of fights where you like maxed out your magic damage to avoid getting crapped on, and then just do the best you can. Like Magus roll seems really strong for Ultima. Scarezo seems very important for both of them, I would say.
Yeah. What do you guys think of the gear? Have you taken a look at that?
When they first released the gear, and when I say they released, I mean it was data mined. Before I even talk about stats, a lot of people have talked about how ugly it is.
Gamer
I like
gear,
the way
right? It's gamer gear.
the Japanese are calling it gamer gear. Yeah,
It's nice and
I fuck with
shiny, and it's got
I
a
fuck
little
with
bit
that.
of rainbow tinge on the white. It's
I think it looks
very
really
interesting.
cool. I think it'll be really like they're gaudy, but that's the point, right? Like when I see someone in town with that, I'm gonna be like, oh shit, respect. Maybe in a year when
Ace is
100
rogue.
people have this shit, I'll be like, ew, that
So
kind of like
Yeah.
when when you first saw adamantite armor, you were like, oh
Yeah.
shit, that guy got the thing, and now like it looks really basic and stupid, and seeing it like,
yeah,
ew.
then you realize it's the level 73 body for paladin and warrior,
But
just
it was a model
remodeled.
Yeah.
no one
Yeah,
used, right?
yeah. Oh, I
But
remember
this is
I
a
things
mean,
like
model
that
that
back in
can't
the
be
day.
replicated.
Yeah.
I think my like seeing the gear, I was like, oh wow, that's really cool. Like they're unique. It's cool that you have like a kind of cool new texture map applied to this, and like it looks really unique and new and blah blah blah. And then immediately I was like, yeah, but I'm literally gonna immediately lock style over it. I might wear it a little bit as a
I don't think I
flex
would.
just to show like
Yeah,
hey, look guys, I got my thing.
wear the
But
body piece.
shortly after that, I'm gonna be like, all right, and then I'm never wearing this again.
I think
Right.
I think it's nice that finally there's some stuff that will map nicely with the Gaive doublet.
Mm,
Even though I know a lot of people hate that pair of
mhm.
wings, but to your point, I don't think there's a lot of stuff that will match well with any of this gear. Mixing and
Yeah.
matching, sure, but I don't even know how viable that
Yeah.
is based on requirements, which we'll get into.
So how is the gear made? Is my question. It's crafted,
So,
right?
Yes.
yes-ish. Let me pull up the update and like read out
So
exactly how it works.
my
But
my
basically,
understanding is that we will get from our now that we've killed Ultimate and Omega, the
Mhm.
chests next month are going to be upgraded. Those
they'll
chests will
be
have
red
crafting
instead of
materials
brown
in
or
them.
whatever.
Yeah, they're going to have crafting materials in them now as well, which you can then either use to craft or sell to other people. There's also something about like racial shards and stuff like that. But you can sell those to crafters who then will craft them into an NQ +1 or +2 synth that you can then take and then augment via the furnace in Limbus.
So
Correct.
do you think they're
So
going to
there's
be
like
auction houseable or no?
Um,
I think they will.
Yeah.
I'm curious because a lot of them are already in circulation, and I don't know if they're on the auction house yet.
Mm.
Do you think the gear is in circulation?
No, the
Oh, no, no, I'm talking about
materials.
the items to
The
purify
cursed items are. The cursed items are.
because they
I've seen
come
them on
from the
Shiva.
Gabi box.
Hmm.
Yeah.
According to the SE forums, the Play Online post, I'm just gonna read it off real quick. We went over the battles. I could skip over that about the obtainable rewards. The treasure chest will change to a new color based on the 4-week period rotation in each world and the areas and the notorious monsters where they were defeated. There are 3 different colors depending on how many groups of NMs were defeated. Based on the color, you can get new materials to appear in addition to the units and matter. So it says if the first group was defeated, you'll get not the strong bucks, the coffer, which is the brown with the gold. If you defeat the second group, it becomes red with gold. If you defeat the third group, it becomes the Orm Strongbox. So Ultima and Omega is the third group. I don't know why they call them groups, but whatever. The treasure chest change applies to each world. Therefore, if you're on your world, that'll apply to your world. Multiple new pieces of equipment can be crafted and reforged. You can craft new equipment by trading purification items and cursed items made from the materials in Apollyon and Temenos to the furnace. Crafting equipment, purification, use shards, matter, alabaster, and murky that can be obtained from treasure chests to the furnace. So that sucks. Sucks that we're going to need to do matter again.
No, you'll still be doing matter. Yeah, forever.
Yeah. There are 5 types of shards in total. You can obtain those based on your specific character's race from the treasure chest by defeating one or more groups. So, essentially, now that we've defeated groups of NMs, the treasure chest next month will reward, in addition to matter and units, a shard based on your race. And you can trade them to mix and match between other players. I don't know if you can sell them. You can trade 2. Oh, maybe you can't trade with other players. You can trade 2 of a particular race's shards to the furnace to get 1 of a different race.
That seems so weird, right?
So,
It seems
so
really
this
convoluted.
is not only job specific. Well, no, it's not job specific, but it's like only certain jobs are on it. But it's also RSE, race specific gear. Is that right?
No,
Yeah.
the gear
Yeah.
isn't race specific.
Okay. So is
So
it
the
just based
gear-
off of the set? Is that what the race is
The-
based off of?
Yes, the
Oh,
gear
okay.
is the 5 archangels.
Gotcha.
So the one set will be the Tarotaro set, and you're gonna need Tarotaro shards to craft it.
Yeah. So they're like, oh well, maybe people will be willing to like race change to Tartaru for a month to get to get shards to do.
Well,
Oh yeah.
I think it's really convoluted and stupid that they made it so that I'm an Elvon and I'll only always get the Elvon
Yeah.
set shard, but I can trade 2 to 1 to the furnace to get other ones to craft. Um, I'm hoping that these are tradable outside of the furnace. Like
Yeah,
it would
me
really
too.
suck. It would really suck if you could only 2 to 1 every other thing, because then naturally people who craft whatever race they're on will have more armor sets available to the community. I don't know. It's pretty silly.
I think the
And
real
then
question is this going to make crafting worth doing again?
I,
so I think that was their goal, but I think the way they
Mhm.
went about it here was really bad.
Yeah, I think there's too many weird steps. It's like augments and crafting and RNG drops from chests and racial drops. So it's like it's so many levels of weird RNG that
I have a different perspective.
it makes it
But
a little bit weird. I do think that the intention is for it to be this is like a new level of um like of SU5 crafting. Like
yeah,
I would not be surprised if we see, you know, maybe like capped gill items next month where
that's my
crafters
problem
are
with it.
making +1s and you see like
Yeah,
999 mil body pieces and stuff being crafted.
at least at first, it's definitely going to
Yeah.
happen. So just to finish up the reading of the patch notes, crafting cursed items, use the materials available from the treasure chest within Limbus to synthesize the equipment. You can check the recipes from mid-tier crafting status guild. So like what we found out is that you need to have a escutcheon in
Mhm.
order to make these. That was kind of expected. Um, then you need to get a segment from Ultima or Omega, which I am assuming is what that means by crafted
From the
materials from
chest.
chests. So you're gonna need a shard, a material that ties to like head, body, hands, that kind of thing. Matter, money items. So that email that was talking about those like Volpe leather or whatever those stupid 1 mil items
Mhm.
are, it requires those too. So this is both a gill sink and who knows how expensive these items are going to go for if they're
Yeah.
sellable.
Oh, they're going to
I'm
be
talking about crafting
ridiculous.
materials.
Yeah.
And then the crafter is going to make these, synthesis, all this expensive shit together. And then they're either going to NQ, HQ, or HQ2. To make it even more confusing to players, the NQ, HQ, and HQ2 sets aren't plus 0, +1, +2. They're completely different names. So like the NQ
I
set
love that.
is like courage, and then the HQ set is like strength, and then the HQ +2 set is like avarice. Or I'm just making names up, but you get the point.
Hemorrhoids.
Hemorrhoids. So like you don't know which set is tied to what. It's just more
Yeah.
confusing.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah, I think
Um,
it's super convoluted. One thing that I did see that they said that's, maybe just like a drop of relief is that apparently they're going to make the augments transferable.
Oh.
So if you get the NQ piece next month, and then in 6 months you spend 6 months augmenting it, and then
Mhm.
you get a +1 much later, you'll be able to transfer your augment to the +1 piece.
That's
I believe
interesting, and
is
that's really
my
cool.
understanding.
I like that.
does that then
Yeah.
mean that you could sell the NQ piece that you previously had? That'd be
I
pretty
don't know.
cool.
Probably not, but
Maybe.
who knows?
I hope so.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
So my biggest critique from this set, like when they revealed the armor sets at base without augments, they're kind of like ambuscade gear in terms of power, and I was like, oh, that's kind of disappointment. They all have like 40 accuracy attack. They all have like very meager TP stat focused
Mhm.
stuff, like either multi hit or store TP or a mix. The mage gear didn't have MAB, and we were kind of just like, these are kind of mid. I hope the augments are good.
And then the augments came out, and everybody was like, "Oh shit."
I
Well, the
think
augments came out and everybody was like, "Oh, okay, huh." I think some
I
of
think the
them are
augments
exciting,
coming out
but some of
showing
them
that they're like worth making. A lot of them are like worth it in a good way, but I don't think many of them are leaps and bounds ahead of anything we
Yeah.
already have. They're kind of side grades, you know?
Right.
I think it feels a lot like the augments on Murky Ring and Alabaster Earring, where like you're like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, those aren't shockingly good items at base. Like, yeah, you replace your defending ring. I could see it being a side grade for this. And then you're like, well, with the augments, like, you get stats, like that could become a good weapon skill ring. And then you're like, yeah, but is it good enough to justify 14 weeks of grinding?
No, but I'm gonna have to do
Like
it because I'm addicted.
I think it's interesting. And one question that I saw in chat that I think is worth going over is who do you guys think this gear is intended for? Like newer players, veteran
Mm.
So that's my
players?
biggest problem with
What do you
this, right?
think?
So the crafter is gonna get this stuff. They're gonna try to make HQ2s, obviously. They're gonna fail and make HQ1s or NQs. But the way crafting shields work is that you can't not HQ. So it's either going to break or make HQ. I feel like there's going to be less of the weaker gear in circulation than players are thinking. And because of that, there will be less of it available for mid-tier players to get as like transition gear, which I think was their intention behind it.
Yeah, it is very awkward because it's not immediately like, holy crap, this is like gonna replace my Imperium +3 and my V25s and all this other stuff. It doesn't feel like it's immediately like a big upgrade for veteran players, but I think it's gonna be so far out of reach to get the augments fully done, to get the items themselves initially, even just get like the materials to make them is going to be out of reach for some people. So I
So
think it's like
here's
kind of at odds with itself.
kind of what I was thinking, and let me say this and see if you guys agree. To me, a lot of this gear is to serve as an alternative that people can accomplish, and can obtain solo that aren't able to say get R30 Odyssey gear and stuff like that. That's kind of how I see this gear.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that, but I also feel like it's going to be in a lot of ways harder to get than some Odyssey gear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
maybe
I do
maybe like time
appreciate
consuming, but if
Yeah.
you're able to do it solo, should it not be more time consuming than if you
Yeah.
can do it with 6 people?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Like if you're a solo player only, are you going to be able to, if maybe if
afford.
you have a shield, but are you going to be able to afford it to get the crafting done,
Mm,
etc.?
No,
yeah.
I think
Well,
in most cases.
it's like Dex said either last episode or the episode before, get a job.
Yeah,
It's,
true.
when we were talking about the Hoxney or the Kraken Club, I think, or
Yeah.
the Hoxney Amplified, I can't remember which one.
I think the only way for this to work itself out in a good way will be for these materials to drop so commonly and be like completely tradable, sellable, that there's such a huge supply of them that crafters are able to just go to town, make a
Yeah.
ton
I
of it.
I will say, if you are a solo player or even like a newer player or like a kind of mid-level player right now, you're looking for like opportunities. Um, get your chest queued up and be ready for Limbus next month, because if you can clear your chests next month on Sunday when they reset and get the crafting items on the auction house first, you're also probably in a position to make a ton of money. Like they'll probably be selling for inflated prices themselves because we won't know the market value of them yet or what the volume's going to be, and everybody's going to be jumping to craft them first. So you'll probably stand to make some guild there too.
From just like a design perspective, I really appreciate what they did with the armor. The job spread is really cool. It's
Yeah,
tied directly to the archangels,
the
right?
jobs on the armor is very unique, aren't they? They're not like
Mhm.
combinations that you
It's
typically
unique, but it's
see.
also not unique if you sit down and think about it.
Okay.
So the Hope Revelation set, that's Warrior Bard Ninja.
Mm-hmm.
The Archangel Hume is Warrior Ninja. So the Bard was just tacked onto that.
Mm.
The Sworn set is White Mage, Red Mage, Paladin, Dark Knight, Blue Rune. The Archangel Elvan is a Paladin White Mage. So their other jobs were tacked on. Indomitable is Black Summoner, Scholar Geo. I think the Taratar is technically a Black Summoner. Or no,
Mhm.
that he was a Black Dark Knight, and they moved the
Mm.
Dark Knight around to make it more reasonable.
Mm.
Duty is Monk, Thief, Beast, Pup, Dancer. The Mithra is Beast Thief, and then the Clemency set is Sam Dragoon, Ranger Corps. That's
Do we
probably the
know
weirdest
those
one.
jobs 100%? I feel like somebody had said that those are
No, these jobs are
speculations, or do
100%.
we know?
The
100%?
gear is
Okay,
Datama.
got it.
So the Hope set, the Warrior Bard Ninja set, it's
Mm.
basically a TP set. So the thing about these armor pieces is that no one armor piece has like a unique stat outside of maybe the pet sets. Like for the most part, any one piece of armor will have the same kind of stats as the other for general play. And I do want to reiterate that's different for pets because I know the pets have like unique shit on certain ones, but the Hope set, for example, is all store TP, crit damage, DT, and that's each piece. So each piece is like a store TP piece, a damage taken, and a crit.
Mm-hmm.
And is that store TP good enough? Like, for example, when this stuff came out, as someone who plays Bard, the Bard TP piece is colloquially known to be the Volt legs, right? Everyone knows that
Mhm.
because it's got 9 haste. That's the main selling point. 8 store TP. That's great. So this new piece of armor at base has 7 store TP, 9 haste, but it also has DT. So a new player playing Bard could get these and never have to get the Volt legs.
And
Yeah.
hope in theory they might be easier to get than volts because volt legs aren't the easiest piece to get.
Or just super
You
RNG.
can,
Yeah.
you can presumably buy these.
Right.
Let's just say we don't know for a fact, but pre-augments, this is one of the highlight pieces for me because it was. I wouldn't use it personally because it's less store TP and I have full DT without it.
Mhm.
But a new player would now not have to get Volt legs.
And also,
there
like,
are
stuff potentially replacing a share harness and stuff
yes.
like that.
So I was going to say the body is 8 DT, 8 store TP, crit.
Yeah, it's
It's less
fantastic.
DT than a share harness, but like
Yeah.
you can just wear this. It's
But
not
how's
going to
the
be a
magic
problem.
evasion? Because I think both of those pieces that you just mentioned are pretty low magic evasion.
100 Mava, 123, 100 evasion, or sorry, 123 evasion, 100 Mava. And then if you look at a
Oh.
Shara harness,
That's not super high.
a Shara harness is 96 Mava, 90 evasion. It's higher.
Yeah, a little bit.
It doesn't have the resist paralyze, but it has more magic defense bonus.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to have more raw stat too. 185 defense. A Shara harness is 148. I don't know. This just seems like a side grade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before
Yeah.
augment. It's like you could get the Ashara harness, but if you don't have it already, then this is like just as good.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly worse. I do think the augments change that paradigm, but at base, a lot of players can get these sets of armor and they will do good things for them.
Yeah.
The problem is whether or not they're available to players who need them because of the price tag. Just to quickly skim through the other sets, the Sworn set for white, red, black, or white, red, paladin, dark, blue, rune. That set is all sword enhancing damage, fast cast, DT. Very strange to focus on sword enhancing damage. I know there's some fights where red mage might want that, like when they're end spell damaging Ongo, for example. In general, I believe red mage wants to do 0 damage with their end spell, so this set might be hard to accomplish that with. because you're not gimping yourself, or it doesn't have enough haste, for example. As a rule of thumb, I think all these sets except for one don't haste cap, but then you have the new alabaster earring to offset that, so it might not even matter.
Yeah.
The Indomitable set for Black Summoner Scholar Geo is just a lot of raw magic damage. It's got fast cast, and it has avatar stats. The highlights are where is it? Avatar favor on the legs, +1. That's really unique. It might make it so that certain blood packs or wards are 1 second faster, I believe was what people said. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's great. We I would love if they reduced the blood pack timers for summoner.
Are we
I
sure
want-
that like these sets are going to be like require a crafting shield situation?
Yes.
That's like 100%.
That's 100%, because you can right now go to the guild and ask if you're at the appropriate level, like not recruit, but like veteran or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know what the rank is, but you know what I mean. If you're the proper rank, you can go to the crafting guild and ask about recipes, and then go to the item, and like you can go to Indomitable Gloves and say what do I need
Yeah.
to make these, and it pulls up the key item from the escutcheon that you need. So you
Oh,
need to have,
really?
yeah.
Wow. See, I was gonna say like these sound like they'd be great recipes if they required like 110 crafting, but not a shield. You know what I mean? But like,
I do
it's
find it
crazy
interesting
that
that they don't have an SU tag on them. They might,
yeah.
but in terms of what we're looking at from dat mining, they don't. I could see these being like SU5 gear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The duty set, you said duty. Monk, thief, beast, pup, dancer.
Mm-hmm.
They get subtle blow, double attack, pet stats. The main one of interest was, I think, on the body. No, it was on the,
So
it's on the body. Damage dealt +8%.
quick question as kind of an aside is if these are the SU5 gear sets, does that mean we have to do another tier list for that?
We probably could, but that's kind of what we're doing right now. We're determining whether or not they're worthwhile.
Okay.
They're gonna be superior. They're gonna be superior 5, requires ML50.
Oh god.
But yeah, this armor set gives
No.
double attack and subtle blow, essentially, plus pet stats. The body is pet damage +8%, which is very unique. The feet give level, but I also think Letty gives level, so
Yeah.
the beast might not.
I mean, yeah, I think that like as a general statement, I'm a little disappointed that they require like such high level crafting, but I do think that like the game requires more incentive to do crafting right now. So I wish that there was something to like bridge the gap a little bit faster, but I am glad that it requires crafting in many ways.
Am I the only one that's more nervous about the augmenting process than the crafting process?
No, I just haven't gotten into it yet. I'm
Okay.
gonna complain a lot about the
Okay.
the augmenting.
The augmenting process looks to be like it's going to be a
Massive
like the
time game.
alabaster and murky, right?
Yeah,
It's not like a random augment, not like an RNG pull every time, but it'll be like you'll slowly feed murky matters and points into it, which is it's a grind, but I prefer.
Is it going to be matters again, like the same currency?
I assume so.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I touched on this earlier. Let me pull it back up. Yeah, exactly. So crafting, purifying requires shards, alabaster matter, and murky matter. You know, actually, now that you say that, they don't say whether or not the augmenting requires matter. But
Okay.
if the augmenting requires shards, that's going to be terrible too, because say I'm an elven, but I'm working on the Hume set, which I will be because it's the bard set.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to do 2 times the work to get shards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really hope that that's not the case.
I mean, I think that it's gonna require you to the intention here is that it's gonna require you to continue to do Limbus for another X months. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why it's coming out.
Years, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like per piece. Yeah, like I think that there's a reason why everybody who has been hardcore doing 5 out of 5 chests is this week or like late last month, getting their rank 30 ring. And now they're like, okay, here's the next one. Because they want you to keep doing it forever.
Right.
I
That's
understand
fine.
that
Yeah.
they want players to play in perpetuity,
Yeah.
but from just a design standpoint, Sortie is already like an extremely long grind that players complain about, but it culminates in a Rima weapon, like the
Yeah. The
pinnacle
reward
weapon.
has to feel like it's worth it. And I'm not sure if any of this does.
These grinds are like do 2 to 3 months of grinding and then have one piece of armor. Now go do the other 4. That feels so much worse.
Yeah. Well, also, like, not to mention, like, I finished my murky ring last week, and I did it mostly out of like sheer determination, because I'm like, okay, 54,000 units and another murky matter, especially when I should probably be saving units for whatever the next thing is that we don't really know yet how many units things are going to cost. But I have to do it out of completion. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm getting 1% crit hit rate on this ring. The stat doesn't even matter to me. You know what I mean, like, but
I love that. Yeah.
To just finish up where I was at, the
yeah,
Ranger, Dragoon, Ranger, Samurai, Corsair set is basically just PDL and crit rate. A lot of people were speculating, based on these base stats, what would be worthwhile. The Avatar Favor legs would always be good because that's a unique stat. People don't really use Beast for pet damage these days, but 8% is nice when it's viable.
yeah,
And then the Bard set seems good for Bard, but not really so much for Warrior and Ninja. The Black Mage set doesn't have any MAB, so it might be like the best free nuke set, but that was pre-augments, so it didn't
yeah.
look good at all pre-augments.
Mhm.
Yeah, it all just seemed kind of mid. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 crafting materials. Tellurium ingot, black jadeite, vicuna cloth, ashwood, white serpent leather, white dragon scale, and hydro oil. So there's a lot of junk to get from these chests that'll all be necessary to make these items, as well as the 5 parts for each set, 5 alabaster, 5 murky.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like stuff.
If it takes one,
Um,
is that an assumption that it's going to take one alabaster and one murky?
what do you mean? To make an armor
You
set?
said, yeah, to make you said five murkies and 5
So there's 5
alabasters.
alabaster parts, like they're mapped to the Omega. Sorry,
Mhm.
alabaster is Ultima. So there's 5 alabaster parts that map to Ultima's body parts, similar to
Mm.
the way old Limbus used to work, where you get like Ultima's brain or Omega's eye, and that
Yeah.
would be the headpiece, right?
Mm.
So I think it's alabaster part 4 is the brain, and it
Oh,
looks like
okay.
his head.
Oh, I see.
Alabaster part 5 is his tail. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
that's
that would
crazy.
map directly to
Hmm.
the armor set you're intending to craft.
So those are additional drops and things like that
Correct.
that'll happen.
So there's
Crazy.
like 7 crafting materials plus 5 per zone parts. So that's like 12 per zone for crafting. There's also a bunch of jewels and a bunch of shards. So there's the shards for that are race specific, but there's jewels as well.
So there's gonna be a lot of stuff. And like what we don't know if it's gonna be you open the chest, you get 5 drops, or you open the chest and you get 0 and maybe you get 1. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm reading that the shards can come from the Gabi box, but are not sellable. So I don't know if that means they're not tradable. I'm reading that the jewels, there's Jewel of Revenant, Jewel of Rev, Jewel of Cam, Jewel of Per, Jewel of Des, Jewel of F. It lusters, emits energies of apathy, defeat, and ignorance. So it's the opposite of
mhm,
the naming convention for the new set. It says no sale exclusive. So those are probably drops from the chest that are for you only,
mhm.
which is annoying.
And so if these things aren't if they're not, I guess maybe they're tradable, but like you have to do the craft yourself?
Um, I think
What if we need synergy? That's kind of what I've been crossing my fingers
Yeah.
for. To be
well, I
honest,
think you can
bring synergy back.
trade these things into the furnace to like complete your
I see.
uncursing of the armor, but the
Yeah.
armor can be crafted beforehand. Like
Got it.
someone's gonna take
There's
say
somebody's gonna do the cursed item. They're gonna make the voodoo greaves, and you have the
correct.
abjuration.
So
Right.
someone's gonna take the cowardice cloak, which is it does say SU4 on it.
Oh, interesting.
Cowardice cloak body SU4. It has
Mhm.
no stats. This code is completely devoid of bravery. This item cannot be equipped currently. So that's the stuff that people are getting from the Gabi box, and that's like the cursed version. So you have these cursed SU4 items, and then with crafting materials and parts, the crafter is going to take the cursed item and turn it into like an actual item, and then you buy that or trade for it, and then decurse it in the furnace.
Weird.
This is a very convoluted system,
Yeah.
and
I think we won't really understand it until we see it too.
Yeah, I'll be
I do
honest, I kind
appreciate
of zoned out for the last 45 minutes or so. And
Wait,
hasn't
so
even
did
been
I. Wait, I think Dex might have too. Does anybody know what we're talking
I'm
about?
just reading these things and trying to like
yeah.
digest it for everybody.
Yeah, no, I
But
appreciate it.
I do appreciate that they tried to make it like crafting friendly,
Hmm.
but I don't appreciate that these pieces that seemingly are side grades for end game people or are intended to be transition periods for newer players, especially like the NQ versions.
Hmm.
Um, they're just going to be such like a grind for crafters that they're either going to be broken and not sold, or they're just not going to be worth, getting in the first place because they're too expensive. That's just a pain point that I don't see necessary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, do we want to go over the augments? I mean, that's kind of like the whole point, right?
Sure. Yeah. What let's go over the augments that you're excited about.
So, how long has it been? A week ago?
Hmm.
A week ago, the augments got data mined. Um, disclaimer is that the data mining of the augments doesn't show what set they're associated with. It just shows that they're in the game. But that being said, you can deduce what set they're associated with based on what they offer. And by that I mean the augments for the bravery set are most likely these MAB plus BPD, blood pack damage and MAB. That obviously would go to the bravery set because that's the mage set. Also, the accuracy is magic accuracy 30, pet magic accuracy 30. It doesn't offer like regular accuracy. It doesn't offer ranged accuracy. So that's obviously that set. To talk about it real quick, the augments range from 28 MAB to 32 MAB. They don't give any magic burst damage. So the entire set gives 0 magic burst damage. I don't know if the blood... I'm not a summoner. I'm not a pet guy. I do know that the legs are good because of the favor. But outside of that, I don't know if the blood pack damage will make any of these relevant. Some summoner will chime in and be like, these are amazing or these are shit.
Yeah.
And I'll just accept their word as fact. But outside of that, for the mages, they might be the best free nuke pieces.
Right.
But in general, I think a lot of Empyrean and so on pieces are already really strong for MAB and magic damage. It's probably the magic damage alone that sets this set aside. And I think Scholar, for example, has really strong magic damage on their Empyrean gear.
Yeah.
So that just might throw this out the window. I don't know. This seems like the least exciting set to me of all of them.
I think
And
overall
also
the mages are mostly in a pretty good spot as it is without this set.
Yeah. Also, if anyone hears sirens and stuff, there's like some craziness happening with a ton of either ambulances or what. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's really crazy.
Oh, no.
Awesome. So let me see. The next one that's easily deduced is the Mercy set. the reason why it's easily deduced is it has ranged accuracy on it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, there's 2 sets of ranged accuracy.
Well,
this is
they
the
probably are trying to boost aggressive aim. So
this is the
Oh,
one
yeah,
where
makes sense.
so this is the one that's the most contended actually.
okay, you're
Um,
talking about Mercy, right?
either Mercy or Hope.
Okay.
So the warrior ninja bard set could be either this or the other, and the ranger, samurai, dragoon, corsair could be this or the other. No, I'm lying. This is easily mapped because the Mercy set has pet stats. So warrior, ninja, bard wouldn't have pet stats, and dragoon does. Okay. So the Mercy set is ranged accuracy, magic accuracy. It has quad attack from 4 to 6, and enmity minus from 8 to 10. In general, ranger doesn't care about that.
Right.
Samurai, I mean, they might like quad attack, but in general, they probably want to keep doing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Corsair could equip these. It would be welcome. It's not horrible. Like, there's certain pieces like the feet or the hands or whatever that, I could just use a multi-hit on. That'd be fine. But I think Dragoon benefits the most from this.
Mm.
Dragoon looks at this kind of like a Gladi set, but with quad attack instead of triple or double.
Yeah. What if we get enough quadruple attack and we can throw away those pesky Kraken clubs?
True.
Since those only average like 3.8 hits or something.
Someone might chime in and say I'm wrong, but Dragoon really only has access to Nikmadu for quad attack, right?
Sounds about
Other
right.
than like, I don't count Balder Earring. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is there any chance that, like, given the number of items that are here, that like the augments are not attached to individual sets? Like you pick the augment by trading a particular item, or
I think that would be difficult since a lot of them have the same stat with different values. So if you had the choice, you'd just pick the quadruple attack plus 6 and then D minus 10 for all of them.
I don't think that's how it will work because one of the augments is phalanx, so it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, what if you could get phalanx plus
I
6
mean,
on all
that
the
sounds
pieces?
awesome.
That'd be great.
Sounds fucking cool.
You know, what would they then have to make each armor piece exclusive so that you could make multiple? And then you'd have to have 5. That would be too much.
I mean,
like
look at Naomi.
Look
at your Naomi. You got to pick.
Mm-hmm. That's
That'd
crazy.
be brutal. I wonder, with that thought in mind, I wonder if there's like a bunch of pieces that would be incredibly good if they had the right augment on them.
Yeah, put phalanx plus 6 on everything.
Well, the phalanx comes with triple attack as well.
Yeah, there you go. You have no idea.
It's presumed that the phalanx set goes to the paladin red mage rune fencer set.
Yeah.
That seems all right for like blue mage and stuff because of triple attack, but also a lot of those jobs don't care about the triple attack. Red mage probably benefits the most because they stack triple attack like crazy.
Oh, with temper and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Highlight is that the hands get phalanx 5, the feet get phalanx 5, the body gets phalanx 6. So even if you have dark matter, the body is now the best, and the hands and feet. I don't know. That seems wrong to me. It says head 6, triple attack 4 phalanx, and then hands 7 and 5. I think it'd be vice versa. I think the legs would have the higher number. But we'll see.
Yeah, and what's interesting is like I guess this is one case where it's like you don't even worry about the +2 HQ. Like, just if you're a paladin and you don't have your dark matter augments or whatever, you assume this is just for that. Like, grab
we'll
your
have to see
phalanx
if it works that way, right?
from your NQ piece, and you're good to go until you get the upgrade later.
If it works that way, I would agree with you. So, like, if you get the NQ, maybe the phalanx only goes to 4 instead of 6.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
I would hope not, but we'll see. But maybe it's the same way as the Dynamis gear, the necks. So the NQ only goes to rank 15, and then the HQ goes to 20, and the HQ2 goes to 25.
Mm-hmm.
That would make the most sense to me.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
a way to balance it.
Cool.
The Justice set gives store TP and triple attack. That's what jobs was that again? I'm like blanking.
Justice makes it sounds like Paladin, but just a guess.
No, that was the other one.
Oh, it was Braver? No. I don't know. These names don't make sense to me.
I think it was the Dark Knight was on the Phalanx set, right? Yeah, it
I
was.
don't even know where
That
these
was
sets are. I just have the
Dark Knight was on the
augments.
end spell set, which had the triple attack and Phalanx augment. This is probably the Monk Thief Beast. Yeah, that's it.
Mhm.
So the Monk Thief Beast set is getting the triple attack and store TP. I think that's probably the best augment of all the pool.
Mhm.
Like Thief, Dancer, Monk, Beast. Am I forgetting a job? Maybe Puppet Master was there? Yeah. So they all their gear gets store TP triple attack, and I think it had double attack to begin with. So this entire set becomes kind of like the augmented Agwoo's head, which was already pretty incredible.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much it, right? Oh no,
Cool.
I haven't touched the Hope set. The Hope set, which was the Warrior Ninja Bard, that was just store TP and crit, and now it gets double attack and PDL.
Mhm.
As a result of that, I think the entire Bard TP set goes out the window, because the Hope set on base gave store TP that was slightly less than what Bard had to offer beforehand with their best in slot set. But now it has double attack and store TP as well as DT. So yeah, you would just throw the whole Bard paradigm out the window.
Mhm.
I would wear this entire set augmented over Nyame body, over Bunsey hands, because it's 6 double attack instead of 8, but has store TP. I would wear it over Volt legs.
Well,
I
except
would wear
for Path A Naomi, because all the real parts have that, right?
no. And then Path real bards, air quotes, would most likely swap out their Nyame body because their relic +4 body is really strong. And then
Yeah.
even then, I think that this new set is better. Let me see. Nyame, Blanchard. No, not the Blanchard. Nyame, Helm. No, Male. I'm retarded. Male. Male has 15 store TP, 7 PDL. And this new set is 8 store TP and 8 double attack. 16 is greater than 15. I'd wear the new set.
Cool. So it sounds like overall the augments make the sets pretty good. The content is fun. Is there anything
No.
else you guys want to talk about while we're wrapping this up? Heghmoh said it's fun, so we're gonna take his word for it. We
Yeah.
haven't done it yet, so we can't say either way.
I think the fights are fun. To be determined how long that will last.
Mhm.
When they might become more of a chore down the line.
Yeah, I mean everything does, but
To an extent, right? Like I still enjoy doing sortie. I don't think it's a chore. Everyone's perspective varies on all these kinds of activities.
right.
I mean, that being said, like when we get like, how long ago did Mannequins come out? 5 months ago, 3 months ago?
I do think Square Enix jumped the gun on nerfing
Yeah.
the mannequin.
Yeah.
I think
But I mean, like they came out several months ago, and just like last week, the week before, right before the newer set of NMs came out, I was starting to like hit my breaking point where like I'm going through killing all the NMs
and I'm getting
in
nothing for it.
Apollyon. I'm getting nothing for it. And I see parties of people walk by, stop and look, and then keep going. And I'm like,
That's
okay, cool. Enjoy your fucking chest, asshole. Like, thanks
Yeah,
for
like
the
if
help.
you're
Server
fighting it
objective.
and you
You know,
see
like-
someone fighting it, you should help them out.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
I
man.
walk by and I see an NM and I'm just doing a run, I might not particularly want to fight it. But
Mhm.
if I'm doing a run and someone's fighting it, then yeah, why not? Like just join up.
I wish I saw the NMs more often, but people
That's the
honestly are
problem. I
too
don't
hogging
on
them.
Asura, I don't ever
Yeah.
see them,
Mhm.
especially after the nerf. I did see them before the nerf because
Yeah.
they're so often spawning.
Heghmoh, did you get a chance to bring Ranger to Ultima or Omega or any of the
I
NMs?
did.
How was it?
I brought it to both. My
Mhm.
ranger isn't the best ranger. Um
You do have
on
a prime though, right? Stage 4?
not on my main. So
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
I was just using like a base, like I was using Annihilator. I would, just testing out
Annihilator's still
That's
great.
Fomalhaut or
still
whatever.
strong. That's
Yeah.
still strong.
It was good. It was strong, and like somebody else in my link shell was doing like I can't even remember some other arrow, like some other bow weapon skill that wasn't a prime. Um and he was averaging really really good damage, like
I saw the pictures. It was
yeah.
Jishnu's Radiance. He was
Mhm.
Yeah,
probably
Jishnu's
using
radiance, yeah.
the Empyrean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like so, it does well. I did the first half of Ultima on Ranger, and then by the time like we were down like 50% or something, and I was like, you guys seem okay up there. Is anybody taking damage? Like outside the halos, it feels great up here. Super cozy. And I'm like, I'm
Mhm.
switching to warrior immediately. And like the next phase its health went down like 15%. And so like, I definitely think that like maybe on Omega or some of the fights they'd favor Ranger, especially if your Ranger is more gear than mine. But at the same time, I felt fine doing Warrior for most of it.
I feel
Nice.
like if you're following Ultima's mechanic and dodging those gyves
Hmm.
correctly,
Yeah,
then melee does just fine. The problem with
yeah.
Ultima is he puts up immunities to one or the other, and you'll have to cycle in the magic damage, right? Or do you
Mhm.
just wait it out?
Wait it out, or at least we did.
Mm.
Okay. I think like a more coordinated group will probably bring aspects of both to just push.
My plan was just like hyper buff my Ranger and stay as far away as I could.
I think that would
Mhm.
work very well for Omega,
Yeah.
specifically because like if the bits get out of control, you can pick them off really quickly as a
Mhm.
ranger.
Mhm. Cool.
Nice.
So these only spawn once a month, right?
Correct.
Yes,
That's kind of bullshit.
I know. I don't
What
like that.
somebody mentioned in Twitch chat when we were
Mhm.
doing them, because they took us like several days, or if not like 5 or 6 days, to finally get them down. I know some servers are still working on them, and they were like, "Hey, remember when they thought all these NMs would reset weekly?
Yes,
Can you imagine if we were doing this every week?"
that sounds horrible too.
Yeah.
I don't think either solution threads the needle properly, right?
Yeah.
Like we're not appealing to the whole player base with either solution. I think something else needs to happen.
Yeah.
Um,
I think they should be spawnable anytime you want to spawn them, like a group can, but you only have to kill them for the benefit once a month.
No, like for practice and stuff.
Or
I
just
want them
maybe
to
you get
not
extra rewards if you
Yeah.
kill them extra
True.
times.
I
I don't
want
know.
them to not be tied to JP Midnight. But
Mhm.
like how about this? What if the world version spawns and then once it dies, you get access to Central for the rest of the month, but it's a bring a party and then choose what you want to do. And it's like a weaker version of it.
Mhm.
I think that'd be a good compromise. I think these NMs are a perfect opportunity since they reward nothing.
Hmm.
I think first of all, I understand that these grace buffs, specifically the exemplar point reduction on death, is intentional because of these
Yeah.
NMs. Like they thought of
Right.
this in
They're meant
advance.
to be. You're meant to throw bodies at it.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's still a lot of experience
Yeah.
lost. I think these
I
NMs
think
at bare
I think I
minimum
lost
should give you a reward
400K.
of exemplar.
I lost 400K exemplar points.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think at bare minimum, these
Wow.
bosses, if you participated, should drop like 50K exemplar, just as like a thanks for coming kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think a great solution, presuming they work out the whole JP Midnight thing, so more people can participate, whether it's allowing you to fight a different version or whatever. I think giving the NMs like a key item that augments your gains in further runs would be a great solution. So like if you go out of your way to fight the mannequins, or if you go out of your way to fight the NMs and help your server out, you get a key item that gives you a 5% or 3% more units each time you run, right? Kind of like how doing activities with ROEs gives you permanent buffs to your capacity points.
I always
Stuff
thought
like
that
that.
you should get a buff or like a temporary key item or something that reduces the enemy's special damage reduction. Like if you participate in the NMs, like your mobs take 25% instead of 50% damage
So you
reduction.
clear faster.
What if
Yeah.
they added a Hawksney Tomahawk? So that way
Oh hell yeah.
you could just apply
Hell yeah.
Tomahawk to however many mobs you want with no time limit
Yeah.
for like
AoE.
5k each. Yeah.
The Hoxney Tomahawk is an axe you put in your offhand, and each swing applies Tomahawk for 10,000 gil.
Yes.
It's like a like Warrior in World of Warcraft has that, or whatever they call it. It has a like sidearm ability where, as part of your auto attacks, you throw an axe
What the fuck?
in your rotation,
Yeah.
and so like yeah,
How many
do
axes are
that.
they carrying in World of Warcraft? Is my question. Like
Well, it's just
in
an
Mistral
animation.
Axe,
It's just like
your axe comes back to you.
but yeah, make it like a what's it, the ninja shuriken throw, Dokken or whatever. That's what Warrior needs with
Yeah.
Tomahawk. Just all of
Yeah.
your auto attacks throw Tomahawks, which reduce special damage. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm into this.
Cool. All right, boys. Well, my dog is waking up from his second nap now
Okay.
during this recording. So unless you guys have anything else that you'd like to add, I'm gonna go ahead
No.
and call that the episode.
I would say the short and sweet is that, you know, with these augments, a lot of these sets are actually worth pursuing. There's a lot of really cool stuff, a lot of new niche sets that can be built. It's just let's see how long it takes to grind and how long or how expensive they'll end up being on release. But
Yeah.
good luck in Limbus in the future, and I hope this final wave of updates in the coming month or two will kind of ease some of the growing pains, because I think Limbus overall has the potential to be a very good piece of content. There's just a lot of annoyances that keep people from enjoying it, and if they can resolve those things, I'd love to do the content long
Yeah,
term.
you guys heard it here first. Dex and Heghmoh give Limbus an A+ after
There was an if.
months.
There was an if.
After months of
Caveats.
complaining, they've decided it's the best content they've ever done.
Wrong.
Thanks for coming, and see you next time.